Good evening. I hope all is well. And I'm Stephen Fox, and welcome to Knicks at Night. Hello, fellas.
What's going on, Steve? What's going on, Kevin?
Hello, Captain.
Our host, Freezy, will be along in a little while. He's taking care of business. Well, the big news tonight for our shout out to our live chat. Hope all is well with you guys. Is that basketball's back? Oh boy, and it feels so good. I missed you, baby. Um,
You and me both.
I can't wait to see our boys tomorrow. And checked out some of the Nets, Golden State, and Lakers and Clippers game. And if the Nets stay healthy, man, they're a scary team, man.
Hey, Steve, I don't mean to cut you off, man. I need some assistance, man. Some fool then sent me some inappropriate mess notification, which is totally inappropriate, man. How do I get this mess up out of here?
What do you mean? Right
Porno-
now
Pornographic suggestions.
on your show or right now?
Yeah, on mine. On mine. How do
Well,
you get rid of that?
Do you have your name? Like right click and report them to YouTube.
You know what? On this one, for some reason, it came up under a notification, and I did the right click, but I don't see. You know how you say you can report spam normally? It is not giving me the option to report spam.
Wow, I don't know what the hell's in the water the last few days. The people. Hi, Joe. How are you? The people are.
How you doing?
Yo.
What's up, Kev?
You know,
Man.
I wish
What's
I
happening,
wish I
bro?
could find the fool that did it.
I don't blame you, man.
They-
It's just no reason for it. No reason at all. So
What
I'm
happened?
sorry, man. After the show tonight, and tomorrow, we could put our heads together and see. Hey,
I need to get in touch with YouTube because
Yeah.
I don't want no mess like that on my stuff.
yeah. The only other thing is we're really blessed
What-
over
what
here.
hap-
With 1 second, Joe.
What
We're somebody was trolling with some pornographic and some just rude stuff on Ron's show tonight. So
After I left? Oh God.
Yeah, I saw a notification pop up like it was a comment on my channel, but it is showing a picture of a nude person just about, and I'm like, where this mess came from.
it's exhausting. What the hell's wrong with people? And
Yeah.
I wish I could find out who it is. I would
Yeah.
choke them out.
yeah, I don't blame
I
you.
see that. I see that a lot. It's like people are trying to provide like quality entertainment for people, and you have some of these people just want to ruin it. Like Sim's channel shut down. Someone reported something about copyrighting games, but he was just breaking down film. I just don't get it.
Hey, I'm we're Freezy and I are really blessed, and all of us are blessed here because of having great mods, Sima, Bodega, and the new Knicks. And you need to get some mods in your thing, Ron, to just make sure that at the moment they see that they're able to kill that.
What's crazy though, I don't think it didn't come across in my comment section because I normally make it sure that I'm looking to make sure people keeping the comments clean and stuff. You know what I mean? But it popped up on a notification like I'm subscribed to this fool, whoever some Alan Garrett is.
Yeah. Well, I see someone in the chat, Patrick Dowdle. Shout out, my friend. That he's, who do you need him to take care of? So, Patrick, thanks for the support. Miss you, man. So, yeah, God, that's exhausting. So, getting back on track for the game tonight, for our show tonight, and is any of you guys check out the games earlier? Well, one earlier and one that's going on now.
I saw a
Yeah.
little bit of that Nets game, but I mean, from what I saw, Golden State couldn't play defense in a rec league the way they played defense tonight. They look terrible on defense.
Yeah,
It looked like an exhibition game.
yeah.
And somebody forgot to tell them this is regular season, and the Nets came to play, but Golden State on the defensive end they look terrible.
Yeah.
Hi, Latrell. How are you?
How are you guys doing tonight?
What's up, Latrell?
I was
We're
on
doing
with Ron, I was on with Ron earlier, and I'm like, these two guys could have gone anywhere, but they had to go across the bridge. I'm like, come on. But
Yeah.
look, it is what it is. They might not work out. They look good tonight, but I think against the likes of the Clippers and against the Lakers and better teams that they might struggle.
Yeah, KD is a special person, man. At his age,
He
and
looks
from
good.
that injury, man, doesn't look like he missed any time. He's smooth, and Kyrie, we know, has some of the greatest handles in known to man, and they're a very dangerous team if they stay healthy, man. Very dangerous. That's a good team. And like you said, I know
Yeah.
Golden State's
And
bad. Hey, Oubre looked terrible tonight. And
Except for that dunk he
yeah,
had.
yeah, but and Wiseman, hey,
I like what I saw to him.
you're not kidding, man.
Mhm.
He has skills, and he already has offensive skills that I wish our boy Mitch. And I know from watching Man, it's the Knicks, great show that it came across the wire that Mitch has a sprained right ankle, and he's probable for the game tomorrow night. But come on,
Oh, boy.
Lord above, please look out after us. God and Moses, how are you, Ralph?
Good, man. How's it going, guys?
Doing well.
Hey, there's my guy. What's up, Rob,
Hey,
man?
there he is.
What's up,
Rob,
God?
how are
What's
you?
up with you, man? I know you ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Is that-
Hey, Steven.
I'm
Hey,
listening.
Steve. Hey, did you get what I text you for
Yeah.
Kevin? Did you get the text that I sent you for Kevin?
When did you send it? I got one earlier.
Yeah, I sent it. I sent you a text about a little earlier tonight. It was for Kevin. Did you watch it?
No,
sent
matter of fact, I clicked on it and it said what the it wasn't available.
You said something
Oh
for me?
wow.
What was it?
It was a Kevin Knox special. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pretty much it was. It was pretty much something from Kevin Knox that kid Nicovelli did. It was like, wake up everybody, no more sleeping on Kev.
Shout out to Billy.
Listen, I did good. I'm a man of my word, and did not mention number 20 by name yesterday at all, and only mentioned him when brought up to me. So
Yeah, I was
No, you're a
trying to
man of
keep
your
this-
word. No
You
doubt
mentioned
about
him
it.
in the Scotty
You're all
Pippen
stored up
thing,
for
but somebody
tonight,
else
though.
brought that up.
no, but hey, I'm still. I mean, there's a lot of other news that came out today. I mean, there's some important news that I think came out today. But we'll I guess get into that later.
Okay, we'll touch on it in a second. Just again, a quick shout out to the chat. Hey, Teddy Flat, hope all is well. Good to see you. Staff of Don, thank you for the kind words. Clutch B-Ball, I hope all is well, Noah. Delano Steele, one of our regulars. Coach Color Blocks, I don't know if you saw my comment on Guillermo's show, but I said that you should get a Lucha Libre wrestling mask with the Color Blocks thing on it so we could actually see your face. So the new Knicks, one of the great mods in history. Again, Patrick Daddle, what's happening? Daryl Pemberton and all Maverick 2190, all of our friends. Thank you so much. And again, please hit that subscribe and that like and those reminder buttons. We passed the 1,000 subscriber milestone. Thanks again. And 1,500, we're on our way. So
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
yeah, God bless Freezy. He knows how to capture that magic in a bottle, I'm telling you. So tonight is going to be another freestyle night for us. We're, want to know what's on the mind in the chat, and I'm looking at it now. And obviously, you guys, the panelists, want to make this as interactive as possible and provide the best entertainment experience for everyone that shows up and views us. So let's start off with your excitement around the horn. What's it mean to you that the game's starting after all this time and us talking about this and that it's real basketball now? Ron, you want to take it, my friend?
Man. Fellas, Knicks Nation, Knicks Global, Knicks Worldwide, whichever way you want to take it. Tomorrow is going to be something beautiful. I got some terrible news today about my mom. She got diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Sorry,
Sorry, man.
Sorry to hear that.
But if it's a bright spot, man, hey, my Knicks, man. My Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
They had to save the day like underdog. You heard me? Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. I think we're gonna shock a lot of people. We're gonna be. I'm predicting the Knicks is gonna be the most improved team in the league, and I think we're gonna have the coach of the year. So with that, that's what I got to say about tomorrow, man. I expect a hard-nosed defense, and I brought this up earlier, Steve. I said, when have you seen a team that can play good to great defense, the worst team in the league? I'd like somebody to tell me when that has ever happened.
No, that's a great point.
I'm pretty sure it's never happened. So if we continue to play defense, which I believe when we continue to play defense the way we have been playing right now, there's no way in the world we're going to be the worst team in the league. No way.
Yeah. And
so that's what I got to say.
Well, first, before I get to you, Kev, I'm going to ask all of our family in the chat to please say a prayer for Ron's mom, for Ron and his family. The Lord will take care of a lot, and our prayers are with you.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So, Kev, how's it feel to have B-ball back?
You know, I would be better if Tibbs would just be not so cryptic and just release who's going to be the starters. I have no idea why he planned that so close. It's like
Belichick.
Why is he planning so close to the vest? It's like that's what's killing me. I watched his press conference from earlier today, and
yeah, I have the transcript for us to go over tonight.
Yeah, I think he was asked like 2 or 3 times about it. A lot of him. He's like, "Well, the coaches are still going over." And I'm just like, "This is literally the eve of the first game, and you're still going over who is going to be in your starters."
I think he's putting the carrot there. Who wants it? Who wants it?
I mean, I do think there's some debate. I mean, really, there's 2 locks, I think, right now. And another key is Austin Rivers still hasn't even practiced, and he's still out.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Send him 2 locks.
Yeah,
2 locks.
Somebody's making. There's a lot of background noise right now, guys. Who's making the back? There's a lot of background noise.
Thanks, Ralph. Anyone that if you're doing something, just hit the mute for us, please, so we could have not only for tonight, but really it makes a big difference for the playback tomorrow. People that are unable to attend that enjoy the show tomorrow. So we're getting like 2,000 views. So please abide by that.
The 2 locks are probably Julius and RJ.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking too.
And I think one more, Burks.
I don't think Burks is a lock.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's a lock. I think there's 2 guaranteed locks, and that's Julius and RJ.
I think he's getting serious consideration, though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, Burks could very well end up starting, but I don't think he would be considered a lock like RJ and Randall are.
Oh, no doubt. But I think he provides veteran leadership, and he provides the shot, the shooting.
So we'll see what he marches out there tomorrow. But he did say it's a 10-man rotation. It's pretty much set. So,
but one of the cool things that he said, though, and I like, is that they're also assessing what group of players play best together. What guys have a synergy that they've seen, and that not necessarily starting, but who really plays well together. So whether that's Quick, and they all call him Quick, so I think that's what I'm going to call him from this point on. Quick, Kevin, they play well together, and Mitch, Obi. So it'll be interesting to see, because I think he said that it's a 50-50 on basically 2 positions where the coaching staff they're in a little conflict of who they want to start, but I think it's going to come down to
a little bit of me thinks that Kenny Payne is into his ear about number 20.
Number 20 and Quick.
Yeah, I think Kenny Payne is whispering sweet nothings to Tibbs, like them 2 Wildcats over there.
They're running wild.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's probably what it is. I think Kenny Payne is behind the scenes trying to pull strings.
Shout out to you, man. sticking by Kevin Knox, man. shout out to you. Because I was feeling worried about Kevin, man. But I tell you what, I said early on, if anybody would break out this year, I felt like he was a prime candidate, given all the resources he have. And so I'm expecting a good year from that kid, man. I really am. I'm not even joking. I'm dead serious. I'm expecting a good year from him. Yeah. Frank and DSJ, I'm not too sure about, but I'll talk about them later because I got something to say about them too.
Yeah, but I'll pass it along.
Yeah, but 1 second, Kevin. I think one of the key things that Tibbs said, not necessarily in today's conference, but he said I think in the last one, is it's not who starts, it's who finishes.
This is true.
Big.
And I'll say this: Knox says, well, the last game was pretty much a blowout that he pretty much put like bench players in, but that game when we came back, Knox was a key contributor to that comeback win we had against Cleveland the first time. So 14 in the fourth.
No doubt, it's sweet. And I love when he's in his rhythm after a shot. He has his form. He just watches that baby go in, swish.
So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, we're behind you, bro. We respect your loyalty, and we all want Kevin to realize his potential. So we're on your side all the way.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Mr. Madden, how's it feel to have real basketball back?
It's good. It was a little bit, as I said, it was a little bit heartbreaking watching the New Jersey Nets ball out a little bit, but
Brooklyn.
You know, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Nah, New Jersey. New Jersey, bro. There's only one team in New York, and that's that blue and orange, baby. But no,
say that again.
Like, yeah, Brooklyn look very good, but it is what it is. You have the Lakers and Clippers are on now. That to me, offensively, it's a very bad game. Very sloppy game, but
terribly sloppy.
Yeah, it's
Clips
expected.
are up by 11.
First Clips are up by 11 again now.
Yeah,
they were up by
end
20.
End of the third, they're up by 11.
Yeah, they were up by 20 and they let it slip, let the Lakers back into it. But now it's good to have basketball back. The real day starts tomorrow, and I think we're talking about what Tibbs is talking about the rotation. I think there's only one spot that the coaches are.
Bless you.
The coaches are. I think there's only one spot that the coaches are 50-50 on, and I think that's that point guard position. I think you're gonna have Randall's gonna start, RJ's gonna start, Burks is gonna start, Noel's gonna start. I think it's that point guard position. They're still 50-50 because I think they know if they play Peyton that if they start with Peyton, which is a bad thing as long as like they can start with Peyton and he only plays 15 minutes. Like if Quickly can play the majority of the minutes. But I think they're going over and back is because they know anytime Peyton's on the floor or DSJ's on the floor or any point guard that can't shoot, they're going to throw that zone at us, and they're going to make us shoot. So I think they're 50-50 on starting Quickly. I think that's where he was kind of pointing at about the rotation, about like the 50-50, like I'm not being 100% sure on the rotation. I think it's just that point.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I love Yeah. I was going to say I love Kawhi. He's probable at this point, so I think
probably play.
Okay.
I hope so. Meaning, I hope he plays, and I hope it's just that they had to just put it on the report. A sprained ankle.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
guys don't like wearing high top shoes, man.
Yeah, really, man. It's no world.
When I came up, you would have never played basketball in them shoes them guys wearing, man. You wouldn't have never done that.
Yeah, when your sneakers slip and slide, get the ones with the star on the side. Converse, that is.
Yeah, I like that.
Old days, remember those in the old days? High top.
But if we maybe fearful if Mitch isn't playing a lot, we might see a lot of Randall at 5. I don't think they're going to bring Spellman in again.
And Obi at the 4.
Spellman's out tomorrow night.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Austin Rivers in today's press conference, Tibbs said that both Spellman and Austin Rivers are out tomorrow.
That made his job easy on who he's going to decide who's going to be on the roster.
Yeah. So if Mitch is out or limited on minutes, they might see a lot of small ball 5 Randall at the 5, which to me wouldn't be too bad because you look at Miles Turner isn't a big. Like he's more of a small ball 5.
Yeah.
So I think Randall wouldn't be too bad. Randall having to defend him.
Yeah, it's interesting.
We'll see. It'd be interesting.
Randall, his last year with the Lakers, played 51% at the 4 and 49% at the 5. The year before it was 67% at the 4, 33% at the 5. So it's not like something that he hasn't done before. So
yeah, he didn't really play too much 5 with us last year, right? I think it was mostly
not at all.
Taj and
in fact,
Taj and Mitch.
He played 5% for us last year, 95% at the 4 and 5% at the 5. So
yeah,
looking at Indiana Pacers, their backup center is like 6'8". So outside of Turner and Sabonis, they literally have like no size.
Yeah, their backup center, that European guy they drafted last year, the Boritz or something, he's out hurt.
Yeah, he's out.
So
like I said,
they're without him.
So like I said, their backup center going in tomorrow is like 6'8".
Yeah.
Yes, so you could see a lot of Randall at the 5.
Yeah, so I hope Mitch is getting a lot of that
space and a little
therapy. Yeah. So Latrell, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really good. I'm just looking forward to tomorrow night. It's like Christmas. It is Christmas actually. It's coming up, but I was on my man Ron Cleveland show earlier. I always appreciate him having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to all of you guys. We all want the same thing, you know. I joke with my guy Kevin Wright about Kevin Knox, but I in the end of the day, I want him to be successful, and it's all fun. It's all love. At the end of the day, it's all love, my man. You know I love you. I think tomorrow's gonna. I told Ron Cleveland this. I think tomorrow's gonna be a competitive game. Why can't it be? And let's see what the boys are made of.
Yeah. How are you, Ralph?
Good, man. Good, Steve. Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to see you guys. Good to be talking to you guys.
Good to see you,
what's going on, Joe? So I just want to say that I'm excited for the season. Right? I'm excited for the season. How do I say that? I'm gonna try to say this the best way I could, but long story short, a lot of people try to overhype things. I'm not. I try to keep things even keel, steady, and try to expect the worst and hope for the best. And I try to. My whole thing is, I think it's important. I think it's important that we appreciate the way the way the Knicks are playing versus wins and losses, because you can't get too disappointed if the Knicks go 0-5, 0-6. That's not something it's totally possible that the Knicks can go 0-5, 0-6, and 0-7. So my whole thing is, how can I stay positive if that were to happen? And I would really just look at how they're playing, how they're improving. And I think we should focus more on that versus trying to overhype, hey, the Knicks are going to go 10-0. The Knicks are going to go 3-0 this week. The Knicks are going to go 2-1.
We got to take it a game at a time, man.
And how they're playing. And also, it's about how they're playing, because, last season, the coaching wasn't great. Everything. There was a lot of things wrong, and we want to see what kind of growth how are they growing? How good are they playing? What more can they do in their game? So I would want to put that in context, because you go. I feel like when I listen to other Knicks channels and news, Knicks media, you're hearing a lot of overhyped things. I'm happy about Manu Quickly. I love his game. I like him as much as everybody in this platform. I like the way Knox is playing. I like Burks, even though Burks was the first one to break out in preseason. I think he's going to be the starter. And I like the way he's playing. Julius Randle's playing. But I'm not going to be the first one to tell you, oh, the Knicks are going to go 3-0, and I feel like I'm being loyal if I say the Knicks are going to go 3-0. It doesn't make me loyal. It just, I don't want to sell.
Makes you realistic.
Right. I don't like to sell dreams. And I feel like people like to sell dreams and like to sell, hey, the right thing to say is that the Knicks are going to go 3-0. The right thing to say is that the Knicks are going to go 82-0. And I feel like we need to slow that down.
We just want the kids.
Well, I can tell you this: if we listen to you, we definitely gonna slow it down. But I can guarantee you, and you can write this down right now: the Knicks ain't going no 0-5 or 0-6. I can guarantee you that.
Great.
I can guarantee you that. That
cool.
right there is a stretch of the imagination beyond.
Right.
Ain't no way the Knicks going 0-5 or 0-6.
Right.
Get out of here with that one.
What'd you say, Kev? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was saying we have Cleveland in that stretch. And we all know what we can do to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy Freezy made a good point on Knicks Morning Drive this morning. And again, if you don't check it out, you're missing some real fire, man. Great show every morning. But he talked about us starting off not so great, but getting our rhythm, learning from the mistakes and everything, and then finishing up the last 36 games, or he broke it down basically in two halves of the 72 game season, and that the first half may be us finding our footing, but the last half he thinks that we can go 500, and I think that's a good way to look at it.
Right. It's not easy. It's going to be right now that we're going to be facing a lot of tough teams. A lot of teams got better in the East. A lot of teams are tough in the West. And I want to raise the expectation of seeing better from the young players, right? I'm not saying to give them 30 minutes like that. What I want is to see Knox play better, Frank play better, DSJ play better. Then if they can play better, then I have a chance to win. You don't have a chance to win if Kevin Knox is playing poorly. You don't have a chance to win if Kevin Knox is playing poorly. You don't have a chance. And same goes with Frank Ntilikina and DSJ. And those guys been struggling. So I can't expect so much from Frank, DSJ, Kevin Knox. Obi's still a rookie. Emmanuel quickly is gonna make a mistake. I wanna be that fan that says, yeah, we can win a lot of games, but I can't give them that expectation, And if they don't perform, that I'm going to criticize, because I'm going to criticize. If I set an expectation, I'm going to criticize. And if I don't, that means I need to be patient. And I think there's a lot of warning signs to be patient. And I want to give a shout out to Joe. Joe, who was it that was talking about? Oh, I think it's Ron. Talking about Tibbs being coach of the year. Was that you, Ron? Am I correct? That's a good conversation. Now, that's a good conversation. I think Tibbs could be pushing mid-season. From now to mid-season, I could see Tibbs pushing but that doesn't. It's not going to equal to wins. I can see not all of it.
I agree with you.
Not all of it.
If he changes our culture, that we're a defensive team.
Right.
I don't think that you can have a coach who win. I can't recall a coach who loses win coach of the year. So if Tibbs is going to be in consideration for coach of the year, he's going to have to win.
And I think he's going to do that.
Yeah,
so
I think Nash has the death stack.
Well, maybe I'm contradicting myself, and maybe you're right. But I like to be reserved until they prove me first. That you know what, I have to see Knox prove me more. I have to see Frank prove me more. DSJ. True. I can't just talk 500 basketball like that. It doesn't work like that in the NBA. 5 players that need to prove themselves like that. That's too much. That's too much. And a lot of us Knicks fans, we want to see them get 20, 25 minutes. So expect the losses. There's going to be some close game losses, 5-point losses, 10-point losses.
And we're competitive.
But we want to see that. We want to see so that might cost us games, and we have to expect that. We have to prepare for that.
The one thing I like about the NBA every year is what people predict. If we went off what people predict, the Knicks would be terrible. But at the end of the day, you got to lace them up. You got to play. And one thing that I know from watching this game, as long as I've watched them, a lot of the teams that they predict to do something, a lot of times regress. And then you have those teams that nobody was looking for that comes out of nowhere, and they surprise people.
Yep.
Just want to say, let's give a shout out to Travi Trav for trolling me, calling me the god of contradiction.
Yeah. Well, hey, just a shout out to the chat. The legendary Who's Mark is in the chat tonight.
Who's Mark? I'm a fan of yours.
Yeah.
I like Who's
Welcome.
Mark.
What's up, Mark? We're all fans.
Mark, come on in.
What's up, Legion?
He's Legion's there as always. Thank you for your support, Guillermo. Kodak Vlogs, like Antoine White, SJ the Third. Thank you everyone, and as always, please hit those like, subscribe, reminder buttons to support our boy Freezy. Also, shout out to the best mods on the planet, Sima Bodega, the new Knicks. Your efforts, as always, are greatly appreciated. And like I said, please don't forget checking out Freezy morning drive, the Knicks morning drive in the morning. So, fellas, real quick, I'm going to get to you, Rob, in a sec to get your take, but I just wanted to update everyone in the chat what our agenda is tonight. So, we're going to talk about Knicks management, not discussing or doing a contract extension with Frank. I have the transcripts of Tibbs, Obi, and Randall's talk with the media today. And, we didn't get to the deep dive on the assistant coaches that are developing our kids. So we have a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. Hi to Isla Wise. Hi, Chef New York. NYK. Really appreciate the kind words. Our future gaming, as always, he's in the morning. A lot of great supporter, so appreciate it. So, Rob, good to see you tonight. How's it feel watching real basketball?
Oh, okay. First, I want to comment off Elijah right quick.
Mm-hmm.
You got three type of Knicks fans. You got the one that's optimistic, that think we're gonna have a good season. You got the ones that's depressed, that think that we're not gonna have a good season, but they're still fans just because they've been hurt so many times. And then you got the ones that just realists. They look like there's a chance that you're gonna win some of the games you're not supposed to win, and you're gonna lose some of the games that you're supposed to win.
Good point.
And what you want to look at in third season players is this here. Chemistry playing. Did they learn anything in their 2 years, even though the coaching bad, whatever? We all know that I don't like when people say the Knicks don't have talent. The Knicks have talent. You're not going to get to the NBA without talent. Now, if your talent can be unlocked, it's things that you learn can be exploited, or you can get past it.
It's not that they don't have talent. It's the elite talent.
Start letting your talent show.
But it's elite talent that we're looking for.
People say themselves that when people leave the Knicks, then they get better. So if they leave in the Knicks and get better, so then that's saying that there's talent. Now we have a coach that's unlocking talent. Now, what people think what the season may be, just because you think it's one way and you call yourself being an optimist, okay, yeah, the Knicks gonna go 10-62. Just because you said that don't make you right. And if somebody says that you're gonna go 82-0, just because you said that don't make it right.
True.
So it's ways to look at this thing where as though nobody is wrong. I think it's wrong for any one of us to tell somebody else how to look at the season.
Yeah. Well, I always remember that fan is derived from the word fanatic. So there's some that are crazy and there's some that are actually students of the game. And thank God, I think New York basketball fans really are some of the best students of the game. And you just have to go to a Knicks game at the Garden to see their moans and groans when somebody's not playing smart basketball.
Yeah, I just want to respond to Rob real quick. I just want to keep it. You're not finished. Okay,
let the man finish. Let him get his flow.
Sorry. We look at it through our own lenses, and that's not to say anybody is wrong. If you're a true fan, you can look at it any way that you want to, and everybody has to respect it. It's not like you're wrong or you're right. People can look at it any way that they want, because when they start playing good, nobody gonna predict it. You're just gonna witness it. That's how it starts with young players. You can put any type of expectation on them, up or down. When they start playing better, you're gonna witness it. So you're gonna know, is it talent there for them to play? Sure. Or they wouldn't be in the NBA. Some of people's favorite people got caught. Miles got cut. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got sent home. KG, he got sent home. A lot of people get sent home. So Tibbs are looking at something to make them players stay. You know, and I think that he's looking at wins though he can get some wins.
Yeah.
So
Ron, what's your famous words about availability?
That's the best ability in sports is availability. If you're not available, you have no ability. And I'm gonna tell you, Rob, to your point about talent, man, absolutely. None of these guys would be in the NBA if they didn't have talent. And this really gives me optimism really a lot of optimism. And any Knicks fan that's an optimist, this should give you a lot of optimism of what I'm getting ready to say. Anytime that your coach on the eve of a game, the first game of the season, after what he's seen in individual workouts, in practice, and through preseason, still is undecided about who's going to be starting, who's going to be playing, that bodes well for me. That tells me something. So I look at a lot of things, and I look at a lot of things in context and black and white, and seeing what the coach is saying, because a lot of the stuff that Tibbs say, we know have been black and white. What he said about Quickly was black and white, and Quickly got the playing time. And what he's saying, based on your playing time, is going to determine who plays, about how you perform. And so when I look at that, the fact that he's having a hard time right now to decide who's going to play tomorrow, that lets me know that these guys are bought into what he's teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Rob, you finished, my friend?
Yeah. Just on piggyback. Yeah, I'm pretty much finished. Tomorrow's tomorrow. That's when the season starts for me tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well said, Rob. Well said.
It's still preseason right here.
So let's get to the first point on the agenda tonight. I'm sure all of you saw that Knicks management didn't offer a contract extension to Frank before the deadline, which makes him a restricted free agent next year. And I don't know if the Achilles was the final straw, or that the new talent assessors of the Knicks regime they didn't pick him. They're looking at his game and like saying to themselves, this is not a guy that we want for the future. And the reality is, looking at his numbers now, he has been a big disappointment. In his 3 seasons, he's averaged 6 points, 3.1 assists, 2.2 rebounds in 178 games since he came into the league. And last season, he shot 45.9% effective field goal percentage, which is the effectiveness of a shot. A 3-point shot counts more than a 2-point shot. And he ranked 307 out of 327 qualified players in the league, Frank. So, by the way, Mitch was number 1 in the league last year. So that's the good news. The bad news is, even though Frank was 307, he was still better than Peyton, who was 311, RJ, who was 317, Knox, who was 319, and DSJ, who was 326, which was 1 away from the last spot on the list. So, and with Tibbs, if we have time tonight, I'd like to touch on Tibbs when he stepped away from the job in Minnesota, was fired. He spent some time with Morey and some time at MIT, and really started getting into analytics as a key factor in his decision making. And if he's going by these type of analytics, DSJ and some of the guys, they don't pick their game up, they're in a whole lot of trouble. So, and by the way, Mark Berman, everyone's favorite but ours, said that he made a prediction today that Frank would be traded at the March deadline for a 2023 second-round pick and the rights to a European player that'll never come to the NBA. So I'm going to swing it back to you, Ron. What do you think about the Knicks' decision on Frank?
I don't have a problem with it. You know how I feel about availability. Frank been here 3 years. True indeed, just like Rob said. It's about talent. At some point you got to step up, regardless of who's coaching you, and you got to show and prove. The one thing that Frank has been consistent about since he's been here, he could play defense. But the other thing he's been consistent about is being a no-show. Let's be real. All of us who love Frank, all of us who may hate Frank, and I'm on the love side of Frank, but if I'm being real about it, the guy never stays healthy, and it always seemed like he's always injured at a time that you expected him to take that leap. And this was a make or break year for him. And so it's not just Frank that they didn't offer that option to DSJ as well. So so what that signals to me is that neither one of those guys are going to make it till the end of the season on this team, unless they show something. I strongly believe that plan is going to be flying them guys to parts unknown. We're going to trade them, and somebody else going with that trade, because they're just not going to just trade those two guys. But you're not going to risk losing those guys for nothing. They're going to trade them guys. They're going to be traded.
Coach Color Blocks with Guillermo the other day said something real deep about Frank. He said that he is a very high IQ defensive player and a very low IQ offensive player.
My question though with him, with Frank, really, what are you doing in the off season to prepare for the season? What are you doing with your body? What are you eating? What is your sleep habits? What are you doing to always have these same injuries year after year? Is it something with genetics? What is it? Because it's got to be something, man. Frank, mentality wise, is something I would want for any player on this Knicks team. Somebody who I know going to work hard. You know what I mean? They ain't going to cause no problem in the locker room. They're going to listen to the coach. But the man he can't stay healthy. But the other three things I like in a player, he has it. But hey, you ain't available. You have no ability.
One second. All right. Take it, Ralph.
I'll respond to him real fast and give him.
No worries.
Okay. No, Ron, a lot of defensive players that just focus only on defense. Like one of my favorites is Chris Dunn. He plays good defense.
He went to my nephew's school, Providence. So shout out to Patrick.
Wow, cool. But long story short, they're known. If you play like 20 minutes hardcore, just defense, and you don't really, want to play some offense and look to score, and it's all about defense, that they're known to catch a lot of hamstring injuries. So I've heard that very often, that those injuries he gets is because most defensive players look, even who catches injuries too? Alfred Payton. Alfred Payton has injuries. Chris Dunn is injured now, and he's a very good defensive player.
Led the league in steals last year.
Yeah. So I just want to put that information and then give it back to you guys. But I just want to put that awareness.
That's a good one. That's a good point, because you're exerting a lot of energy on that defense. It takes more energy on defense. Yeah, it takes more energy to play defense than to play offense.
To get 3 screens in the NBA.
Yeah, you're right. You're gonna take a beating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Kevin, what do you think about the decision with Frank?
Oh, Delano's still in chat. Yeah, Frank Ntilikina is a 6'4" Keith Kloss.
Delano's so cool.
Yeah, I ain't heard that name in like 20 years. No. Here's my thing. I've never seen a fan base, and maybe I don't know other fan bases, that put so much stock into a player that really. Frank is in all. Here's the deal. Frank is a good defensive player.
He is.
Is he elite? No. He is somewhat overblown sometimes, because he'll have some plays like when he got that steal on Luka, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he shut Luka down."
30-some odd points.
No, he didn't actually. He got a steal, but because he got that steal, everyone's like, "Oh my God, he just shut down Luka," and it's like, that's not what happened at all. And it's like, Frank is like the most polarizing player on this team, and it's like they're almost like Frank is on the fringe of being like a superstar. We're just developing and give him time and just let him play. And it's like, I hate to say that, I think Frank, because Frank has never shown flashes, at least flashes of anything else at all. And there's probably gonna be the Frankers out there, probably gonna kill me. But it's just some, and people might get on me because they say they know that I love Kevin Knox. But the difference is Knox at least has shown flashes that he can do other things on the court.
That's fair.
Well, Frank has literally not. And the team, by saying, you know what, we're not going to give you money because, and this isn't going to bode well because I think Frank is on the outside looking in anyways. And so you being on the outside looking in, you're probably not going to, you might get spot minutes, if someone gets hurt, because, a lot of these point guys on our roster, they get hurt. So he'll play. And it's up to him to make the most. Okay, what can you do other than defense that's going to, can you consistently hit the corner three? Are you going to be willing to take the corner three? Are you going to be able to do anything offensively to justify because here's the thing. Why would you give Frank $5, $6, $7, $8 million when you can get someone who can play adequate enough defense and actually still provide you, as we saw with Leon Rose, he has no problem giving out small contracts, but at least the people who he brought in are two-way players. Frank is not a two-way player at all.
He's not. Hey, let me ask you, fellas, in his rookie season, he had his season, but the second season in the off season after his rookie season, all the pictures were of him lifting weights, getting jacked versus his rookie season. Do you think that today's athletes may be lifting weights too much, and some of the injuries that they're getting is that they're putting on too much muscle instead of being lean and mean?
I think it's just defense. I think when you obsess with just one side, I think that's what it is. But I also want to say something to Kev real quick and just let him talk again. I just want to.
No, Kev, man.
Okay, Kev, I just want to mention to you that I think one of the biggest things that about Frank is that he's known when the moment with that steal he got from Luka, that was a little bit of a. I'm not saying he's a superstar now. I'm not saying he deserves a big contract. All I'm trying to put in perspective is Frank has known, his defense has known to stand up to adversity, so to speak, right?
No, it's disruptive.
It's when he's up against a star and people are trying to embarrass the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, he's sort of been one that would be willing to face the challenge, to take up the challenge. And I'm not saying that he's a $10 million player or I'm just trying to put in context why the fandom of Frank Ntilikina. One of the aspects of this is that because there are moments where he hits the ball off of Luka and then he jumps for the ball and you see the scrappiness, like, oh my God, it's a 50-50 ball and Frank is fighting to get the ball and win and take the ball away from him. So it's those little things that says, you know what, that is basketball, and I sort of get it. I mean, I don't think he's the greatest to put on a Knicks uniform now, but I do understand a little bit of that aspect of why people cater to Frank to some extent. I just sometimes think it's way too extreme. It's just way too extreme.
I want to say something that my grandma says to all of us. Mm. She says, if you have a bunch of breadcrumbs, it's not going to equal up to a slice.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's deep. I like that.
That's very well, the biggest knock is his offense. If he can shoot the ball,
that's a big part of the game.
It's not just that. He doesn't impact the pace of the game like he wants.
How many teams has Tony Snell or Ronnie Brewer played on? You don't see people lining up to getting Tony Snell, do you?
And that's the same thing with Alfred Payton. That's why he's bounced around.
Tony Snell's a defensive oriented. I'm only going to play defense. I might hit the corner three kind of player. That's basically the equivalent of Frank.
In 2020 at the guard position, if you can't shoot, you can't play.
I'll say
If you can't keep them honest, you're in trouble.
I couldn't agree more.
A quick point. Hold on, fellas.
Unless you're like Westbrook.
Let Ron take it for a sec.
Other than that, it don't work.
Hey, Knicks Nation, man, Knicks Global, everybody in the chat, man. Y'all check these numbers out, man. We had 105 people watching this stream right now. And there's only 25 likes. Come on now. I know we can do better than that. Let's support the big homie Freezy, the Nick at Night podcast, man. Let's get them likes up, man. That is unsat. You know what I mean? Let's get that thing up, man. Let's support Freezy. You know, hey, he put on a good product. So hey, let's help him out, man. Let's do this thing the right way. All right.
Yeah. Hey, just a quick shout out to guys. 1 second. A Nudie, Mike M, George Alvernia, one of our favorite fans. He's in the morning. He's in the night. That guy is a great supporter. So thank you guys. Dado M, Ernesto. Hope all is well. So,
what's my go?
Joe's turn. Joe.
Frank, I think this is the first time I'm going to say Mark Berman's right. That's probably going to end up getting a second round pick in a a contract that's not going to come over. I think that's kind of fair at this point. Get whatever you can for him, because if you know if he's not going to produce, you know what you're getting from him, and you know you're not going to re-sign him, then take something from him. DSJ, I think you can get a little bit more out of him, so you could keep him, or you get more trade value out of him. But I think at this point with Frank, we know what he is. He's a defensive shooting guard that can't shoot, and that's all right. Maybe work on another team. Like we need high talent. Some of these other championship teams might just need him and put him on the court for 10, 15 minutes a game and play defense. We can't afford to have huge roster spots on that right now. So we're probably to see what we can get for him. And I think eventually Frank to me doesn't seem too happy here. I think he's going to end up going back to France. I think some of these European players, when they come over to America, they don't like it here. So a lot of them seem like the same. Mirotic is a big example. When he was a free agent after he went to the Bucks last year, he went back to Barcelona because that's where he grew up and that's where he wanted to be. So I could see.
And he knew Bobby Portis wasn't around to punch him in the face.
I'm predicting we're going to do a trade with San Antonio. I'm predicting it's going to be a trade with San Antonio.
Because that's a perfect
what are we getting
place
back?
for Frank.
And that's that Tony Parker connection.
Yeah.
That's where he's going to end up at, because they wanted him at one time too. They wanted Frank also with Golden State. Those two teams.
Yeah, I could see Golden State if Golden State are in that playoff mix, actually trying to grab him.
And what I've seen tonight from Golden State, they need defense in a worse way.
Yeah,
that one no
especially
defense in what they was playing. They need defense, period.
Yeah, so that could be something. That could be something. We could take on like a small contract that they have, like one of their $1 or $2 million deals on a second round pick, and I'd be all right with it. It's something, because as I said again, you don't want to have him at the bottom of the bench this year and then reach unrestricted free agency. You let him walk for nothing. So that's literally like flushing the 8th overall pick down the toilet. You might as well just get, even though he's like very few value, and just take a second or whatever you can get.
Shout out to Jason too. He said he brought up 2 more teams, the Mavs or the Raptors. 2 more teams that could be possible destinations for
Send
them.
them to the Raptors. We don't want to help the Mavs out. We have their pick. You don't want to give them.
Or the other way around. We don't want to help out an Eastern Division guy.
We have to see it. We have to see it. He's right in our conference and our division, ain't it?
Yeah.
The Raptors with us.
But that Mavs pick, we have their unprotected first pick in this draft coming up, so we want their pick to be as worse as possible. So you don't want to give them nothing.
I said San Antonio. San Antonio at least give us something back that knows how to play.
Yeah.
So, that or just a second round pick or something.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paris Duggar for a second.
Draft,
just wanted to do that, and it looks like the Clippers. I'm not sure it's a final because it's a little cryptic, but it says Clippers 116, Lakers 109. So I don't know if that's a final.
Yeah, they won.
Final.
Yeah. Okay.
Final. Nice.
Wow, George and Leonard
what was I
combined
gonna
for
say?
59 points.
Say that again.
George and Leonard combined for 59 points
Wow.
of the 116.
Yeah.
That's big.
Hey, I'm
Who
worried
cares?
about
Did you see
Kawhi.
Paul?
I think he has a lot of
Paul
mileage
George
on
down
him.
the
wing.
I'm sorry. Go, Joe.
Yeah, Paul George is down. He had the ball down the wing, and he just threw it to the referee out of bounds. He thought it was a guy in the corner.
Yeah, in the beginning of the
I've
game,
never seen
that
anything.
was wild.
Never seen anything like it. I was like, the guy was.
You hear
amazing.
Reggie Miller's comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I had a thought about, why Paul George didn't play good last year. I mean, in that bubble and everything. And I really think this had to be a problem. I'm not surprised when you think about the fact that Paul George used to date Doc Rivers' daughter. Let that sink in.
Paul been doing that before the bubble.
Yeah, but
Paul
I'm saying
they
ended on a bad note. It ain't
Paul
a good
been
situation.
doing that before the bubble, Ron.
Think about it, Rob. But still, think about it. Ain't like that thing ended on a sweet note. It was a bad situation.
Yeah.
He been doing that,
and that puts
before
the whole
the
team
bubble.
in an awkward position.
Hey, exactly. I think that's probably had something because he's definitely not no mentally tough individual.
So what's the excuse in Indiana then?
The excuse of Indiana, he played good in Indiana until he had the injury.
Not in the playoffs.
And he came back.
Close out game.
I mean, that was after the. I mean, hey, ain't no disputing that, but I'm saying that was after the injury. You know what I mean?
No,
we knew he didn't play good after that injury.
Oh
no, I ain't going with that. Before that injury, that boy made a name for himself before that injury.
Look, the only reason why he made a name
He was a prototype that people wanted people to. Yeah.
Because he took Danny Granger's place, and Danny Granger was an all-star that was.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. You know why? Because he gave LeBron all he could handle in that series. That's when Paul George made a name for himself.
In closeout games, it's all the same, Ron. In closeout games, look at his stats.
Oh yeah, it's closeout games. But the thing is, think about it. Think about it. And with the Clippers, he wasn't the closeout guy. That was Kawhi's job. So he was a Robin to Batman. But the thing is, you can't undersell the fact that you playing for a coach for the girl that you used to date this girl, and you playing for the daddy, and now y'all done broke up, and it wasn't no good breakup. It was a bad breakup. Let's face it. Seth Curry, did you read Seth Curry's mouth when Seth Curry was talking? Seth Curry ended up marrying the girl, and he was talking trash to Paul George. Serious trash.
He played for him the whole season.
Rob, you still ain't getting. I'm gonna leave that alone. We gonna agree. We gonna agree.
You can't be that heartbroken. Man. You played for the man the whole season. You went to go get traded there.
Hey, you don't think it's a problem? And then now think about it. After this season happened, what's the first thing Paul George, when they start talking to him, asking him about the team? Who he's blaming? Who's pointing the finger at? Thank you. Thank you. It wasn't a good situation, man. So you think that was a good situation? Come on, Rob.
Doc said, Lou. Doc said,
that stuff was festering.
Ask the people in the chat. Let the chat decide.
They used
y'all don't think that might have had a problem with Paul George? I know that could have had a problem.
Yeah, so chat, thanks, Ron. Yeah, chat, we want your feedback. We want this as interactive as possible.
Ron, I just want to say though that PG's best year was with OKC with Russell Westbrook. Those were the best years he had so far.
You know, he did 1 year.
I disagree with that. He ain't played years. He played 1 year.
He got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
1 or 2.
The year when he banged on top of LeBron when he was a young pup. That's when that boy was playing good ball. But once that injury happened, he was never the same.
Eastern
Conference Finals. He was never the same after that injury.
I'll take OKC, Paul George, or any the other way go.
I'll take neither one of them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to OKC. Hey, Rob, now that is something we agree on. I would not take that OKC Paul George, and I definitely wouldn't take that Clippers one. I can't believe how in the world he got the bag he just got. I don't understand that one.
Well, they had to give him the bag. They gave him like 6-round picks for him, so they had to keep him.
They let him walk. They chose to. I wouldn't have given him that kind of money. I'd have let him walk. I would have got him up out of there.
6-round picks.
I would have traded him.
Picks for him.
I would have traded him to somebody.
Yeah. Let's go to our guy Latrell. What do you think about the Knicks not extending
Frank.
the offer to Frank?
Well, I find it, to me, it doesn't make sense to me why Frank is so polarizing. If anybody on our team is shit, I get why Julius Randle's polarizing. I get why Dennis Smith, to a point, is polarizing because he had some good years in Dallas and at least did something for a little bit. But Frank, to me, he is what he is. Like people have said, he's a one-dimensional player. Unfortunately, I think he was put in a bad position. I don't think he should have been drafted as high as he was. I don't think he deserved to be the 8th pick. But it is what it is. If he was in a better situation with offensive-minded players around him, like a KD and a Kyrie, and he could just focus just on defense and just fill in the gaps on a made-ready team to win, he can play. But in this type of situation, it's not going to be pretty. And so, to me, he is what he is. So I think he's the odd man out here. I agree with Kevin Wright, my boy, who says that, if Frank, and the other thing is if he's healthy. But if he's healthy and we got somebody hurt, then he'll get an opportunity. But he is what he is. I don't think he's polarizing at all. I've seen a guy that his first year here was scared to even take shots. And he still at times is hesitant. He's got to take the shots, but he is what he is. He's been very frustrating. I've rooted for the kid. I wanted him to be great. I think he wants to be great. I think he was put in a bad situation. I blame the coaches too. But now I trust these coaches, so we'll see. I trust Thibodeau. If Thibodeau wants to play him, then he'll play, and we'll see. If Thibodeau doesn't want to play him and he wants to sit on the bench and gets water for the kids, then that's what we'll do. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Hey, water boy.
$5 million water boy.
Yeah, it's a shame. I hate it for the guy, but I think he's gonna be best served playing elsewhere. He'll be one of them players that we look at and be like, okay, they blossom away from New York. This ain't gonna happen here. I don't think.
You know how regimes are. They want their guys that they drafted, that they nurtured.
Absolutely.
So, Ralph, what do you think?
Man, I think everybody's making a lot of good points, man. So I want to give shout out to everybody. I don't know what else to say. I just think that he would have been. I question whether he should have been a point guard. I think he should have been. Maybe his first year a point guard, getting minutes at the point guard. I think he should have been also getting minutes as the off ball, since he was drafted to be sort of a Marcus Smart kind of player. And I think it would have been great had he been working, had we been pushing him to shoot more threes. I'm seeing that now. That supposedly, I'm not going to compare Lonzo Ball to Frank Ntilikina, but JJ Redick. I read a report that JJ Redick is pushing Lonzo Ball to shoot more threes. And I'm not saying that Frank is a Lonzo Ball, but if Frank was shooting more threes in his second year or his third year, I think that we would have seen him be more aggressive. So I just questioned whether we developed him properly as well. Like,
good point, man. Yeah, hey, Sir Ann, the man said, my mama said DSJ and Frank the devil.
Yo.
That's a good one, man. Hey, I needed that today. That's a good one.
What about DSJ? Did he get an extension? So both of them didn't get a call. So that means we have to expect something to happen between the both of them, or if not, they just might let them just finish a year.
Yeah, that's where that cap cash and them two guys gonna come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
David Lansing, you want to shout out? You got it, my friend.
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, unbelievable. What do you think, Rob?
Well, I think is a reason why DSJ and Frank didn't get an extension. I already thought pretty much that they wasn't, because if you gave either one of them an extension and you had a trade to get some money off the table, if you extend the contract, the other team wouldn't take it. So being that it's going to be an expiring contract on both ends, it plays good for the Knicks. Now, as far as Frank is concerned, I think that Frank can be somebody like at the end that they would sign back for one simple reason. You can stick Frank on the bench as the 11th man. And as the team get better, Frank is still learning. And then you can bring him in as a situational defender. If somebody's getting too hot and you need somebody, you don't have to pay a whole bunch of money to have that on the team.
Good point.
Yeah, and Guillermo and Coach Colorblocks also brought up that in a triangle that you have multiple guards out there, and it's always good to have maybe you're seeing much more sets with guys with 2-point guards out there, etc., or somebody that has the ability to have point guard skills. So even if we don't think Frank has elite skills, he has enough skills to complement somebody like a Quick, or so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, you put Frank in there like in Las Vegas, they would call the cooler. When somebody is getting too hot, situational defensive player. There's room for that on the team. It's like you don't need to get on the airplane when you have a skill set that can help the team. Like the sixth man gets on the court. All he's there for is points. They're not worrying about his defense. Why can't Frank be the opposite?
Frank would have been a good soccer player.
I'm just saying you can shut down the person.
There's a difference is if you have a player that can be really, really good on defense, like not great on defense, but still give you offense.
But look, Kevin, you missing the point, because the point is this here. While he's sitting on him for his specialist talent that he has, that will put him more comfortable in a role. Once he gets in his role, everybody never said that.
Yeah, this is a role like
Kevin, we went around. It's my turn now.
No, but here's the thing. I hate to do this, but here's the thing.
Oh, you stopping me.
Can't play
I promise you, Rob. We'll come right back to you. Let Kevin. Let's have a little.
That's the thing.
Get a little life
In
into the
today's
discussion
NBA,
tonight.
you can't play 4-on-5.
Hey, look, this is what I'm saying.
I stand by that.
If somebody got too hot, you can bring Frank in, then you report back as the 11th, 12th man on the bench. In practice at the same time, everybody knows that Frank got a shot that looks like it could go in, like with confidence, like with Knox. Knox's confidence went up on his shot when somebody gave him the ball. If you put Frank in a role and put Frank in that corner and let him develop that skill set, I think that Frank can do that job with no problem with getting $3 million a year to do that until he develops that talent. Frank came over here at a young age. I'm saying there's a rule, there's a spot as a 12th man. You don't even have to play every night, but to develop that skill set. And what people are forgetting about Frank is this here. Frank is the face of the rebuild, whether we like it or not. Because that's the first pick that came after Melo. They traded for them. They drafted Frank. So he's the face of the rebuild. That's why Frank is so pulverizing, just because he was picked right there, right after Melo. And that's what people make it that way.
I think thinking, just getting into the heads of the new management there is trend analysis. When they look at a player, and I'll bring DSJ into this too, with Frank and DSJ looking at their career, the one thing that you'll see is they've been injured. They've missed time every year they've played. And goes back to Ron's availability comments that it's hard to want to build a foundation where you don't know how long. The only thing you know is that they're going to be injured. There's going to be something that's going to come up with this person, because it's happened every single year, whether it's a groin, whether now it's an Achilles, DSJ, whether it's his back, whether he's banged up, that they want somebody that they're going to be able to rely on. And I think history and the trends have shown that them getting injured wasn't an isolated data point that happened one time. Yeah. What you got?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
Can I respond to one thing Rob said that I think is important? I understand what Rob is saying. It's true that, yes, Phil drafted him, and that was a high draft pick, and I get his point about being the face of the rebuild. Maybe that was true like 2 years ago, but I think he's not the face of the rebuild anymore. He is what he is now. I don't think I think RJ's the face of the rebuild. That's to me, RJ and Obi are the face of the rebuild.
I said he was. I did say was the face of the rebuild.
And Knox.
So, like I said, like with that just being said, is this here? If you're paying $2.5 million for Frank and he's the 13th man, but you got somebody that's hot, that's in the game, and you say, Frank, go in there and cool them off. And meanwhile, because Bruce Bowen came into the league, back into the league himself, he was 25, 26 before he developed that skill set. So paying Frank $2.5 million to watch him progress on the bench, you know what I'm saying? Not playing because 13 and 14 people on the roster usually doesn't play. But if you have a hot player, that's a role for him. Frank, go in there, go cool him off. Frank and guard him. Sit back down. Boom, go back.
I got a question for you, Rob. After you finish, I got a question for you though.
And then after that, after you build with that, and then maybe do it during this time, the shot is building along the corner three. Next thing you know, you got you a Bruce Bowens. It's not crazy that everybody wants Frank for a reason. They're gonna probably do the same thing.
Do you think he can turn into Bruce Bowen, Rob?
You excuse me?
Do you think he can turn into a Bruce Bowen?
Look, Frank is 22. Bruce Bowen came into the league when he was about 25. He has that skill set. We can't say he doesn't have that skill set. He has a Bruin skill set. Where he would take it to, we would have to see. But that's where it would look like. Something like him.
That's fair.
Hey, listen real quick. Freezy just back channeled me, and I have a favor to ask the chat. Freezy has a code of ethics that I really respect, and this is his house. So please, hey man, we like to keep it cool and let it flow, but please cut down on the profanity. Freezy doesn't want it. This is his house. We got to respect. It's his house. Please go by his manners. So we could have a great discussion and passionate and everything, but we don't have to drop F-bombs or other stuff. Hey, it happens once in a while, that's the nature of the course, but we can't have a habit of it, and please respect Freezy. So sorry.
Gotcha. I wanted to ask a question. Do you, Rob, now here's my question to you. Now you talking about Frank, $2.5 million, $3-4 million. I doubt that the Knicks will offer him more than $4 million, but maybe they might offer him $5 million, right? Here's my question to you. Because even Carmelo Anthony, right, back in the days, he had a tough time seeing himself as a bench player, right? And my question to you is, Carmelo Anthony, right? Carmelo Anthony, right? You remember the saga? Like he had a really tough time transitioning, seeing himself as a bench player. Now, my question to you is, do you think Frank sees himself as a $4 million player coming off the bench? Maybe not getting 20 minutes anymore. Maybe he might just get 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And maybe some games he might play. Maybe there might be minutes that there might be some games he don't play. What do you think about those questions right there?
I think this here, Frank is not in a position to tell anybody anything. If you want to stay in this league, you're not Melo. Melo has a long history of what he done when he did it. Iverson had a long history. He doesn't have, from what Frank's shown with everything, injury, everything, Frank doesn't have the right to say anything but either I'm going to take the money or I'm going back to France. That's his only two choices.
But you just said that the Warriors wanted him, the Spurs wanted him.
Yeah, they wanted him for the utility player.
Thank you. As in a specialist role.
Yeah.
A
piece taking help.
Someone else can have him. I have never seen why we spend so much time talking about a player.
1 second, Rob.
A specialist player. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
We'll come right back to you, bro. Remember what you just said.
Never be a star, maybe not even a point guard, but as a utility specialty, like Batman's belt, is something in there. He will be in Tom Thibodeau's belt. That's my utility man. I pull him out when I need him, and I put it back.
I think he'll be playing for Manchester United.
It's 15 spots on the team.
Let Kevin take it. Kevin, it's yours, my friend.
We are spending way too much time talking about a player who probably won't even play tomorrow.
I
Yeah,
doubt
that's
he
what
plays
Tim
tomorrow
Singh,
because of that
our
injury.
buddy, said too.
Not
Hey,
even going to
one
play,
last thing,
and yet
one
we
last thing
devoted
on
like
Frank after
30,
you.
45 minutes about a player who's probably not even going to play.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
like
come-
let's
No,
talk about
but
Theo
come on.
Pinson for 45 minutes.
But when it's Kevin Knox,
Let's
but
have a
when it's
debate
Kevin
about
Knox,
Theo Pinson.
no, 3 hours. Come on, Kevin. You can't use that argument when you talk
Hey,
about Kevin Knox.
Knox
It's 3
is
hours.
going to play, not
Hey, I'll
as
tell
a
y'all-
role.
hey,
There's
I
a
agree.
difference talking about a player who's actually going to be on the court and
That's
someone
not-
who's going to be in his warm-ups the whole night.
I agree with Kev. They're not going to play him for one major reason. That injury, that sore Achilles, they're not going to mess around and have him blow that thing out, and then we can't trade him.
Let's
They're gonna park it.
let's talk
You're
about
on
Theo
all the way,
Pinson
my
for
friend.
45 minutes. Let's have a debate about him.
All right, so listen. This is the last thing we'll touch on, Frank. The chat agrees with you, man. So the last thing we're just going to segue to Tibbs' conference today. That Frank missed the last two. The question to Tibbs was Frank missed the last two preseason games. When did he? When he did play, it looked like he was playing mostly off ball. Is that the position you envision him going forward? And he said the thing I like about him is that he can do both, which is the same thing with Quick. What we see a lot now is that you have a point guard, wings, and a big, so it's not traditional like it's been in the past. I like the fact that we have point guards that can do that. Quick did that in college, which is similar to the way I use my guards in Chicago. It's a great advantage to have defensively. Point guards are used to guarding guys off the dribble, and now you can put them in catch and shoot, getting them around screens. So sometimes you gain advantage this way. And of course, the rim reads are the same for all players. So you can play guys, if you look at today's NBA, that are more than one point guard on the floor at a time, or even two combo guards on the floor at the same time. That's what I like about our roster. Did you notice that he went right to Quick? He didn't.
Oh yeah,
talk.
yeah.
That's what I was
time on
gonna say. He didn't stay on front.
So that really tell me
5 seconds.
Quickly might be starting tomorrow night
Yeah,
because he can't stop. He can't
maybe.
stop talking about Quickly.
I think he's thinking Payton, but I guarantee Kenny Payne and Johnny Bryan are in his ear saying, "Look, we need the spacing."
And I tell you this: if they start Peyton, they're gonna pull the hook on him real quick, and Quick will be in there.
That might happen that's more likely to happen.
Yeah, I
than
think that'll probably
otherwise.
happen. I think that'll probably happen.
Yeah.
No, let him play 10 minutes and then then hook him real
See
fast.
what he does exactly. See what he does. And if he sitting there can't hit the backboard, it can't make a shot. The team sputtering, looking slow, taking a long time to get in sets. Quick, come on in here.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton, you go sit over there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we finished our Frank talk for the night. Unless anyone has any last comments.
No,
Going
that was
once,
the last,
going
that was the last
twice.
call for alcohol for old Frank.
So,
You need alcohol to talk about Frank.
absinthe.
Oh
Again,
boy.
salute to the chat. Please hit those like, subscribe, and reminder buttons to support our boy Freezy. I'm looking at it now. Jack Harlow, Esco, the Awakened Israelite, Daryl Pemberton, D. Grant, Coach Salter, Anuti again, Buds. How are you, man? I love my buds. So hit those like, subscribe, reminder buttons. Support our boy Freezy. Also, shout out to the mods who are very busy tonight. Everyone is quite animated in their words. So Sima Bodega, New York Knicks, thanks so much. Your efforts are appreciated. And again, don't forget to check out our boy Freeze in the morning, Knicks Morning Drive. It's a great show. So some of the other questions to Tibbs during the conference today was, do you expect everyone back for tomorrow's game? And he said, nope. Austin and Amari Spellman around, as I said earlier. Next question was, Tom, with so many young players that are still finding their way in the NBA, how much are you going to lean on Julius as a vet and accomplished player in the league? And Tibbs' answer was, and it's very similar to the one that we just said about Frank. Watch how he segues here. I like the way Julius has been from the summer to all the practices, and it's not only him leading. Alfred, Alec Burks, Reggie have been real positive veterans. Sometimes that's not the case, but they've come in every day and practice hard, and I think they're really good for our young guys. So you don't want to lean on one guy. You want to have a team of leaders, and we're starting to see that. So he didn't stay very similar that he didn't stay on Frank and he went right to Quick. he didn't stay on Julius for too long. So you want to take it, Latrell, on this one?
I'm sorry. What I was caught up with a comment. Guy criticizing showing my basketball card. What was the question?
Yeah, no worries. That the question to Tom was: so many young players are still finding their way in the NBA. Are you going to rely on Julius as a vet to help them out? And Tibbs just said that he's like the way Tibbs Randall has come in, but it's a team thing. It's not a Julius thing. So all the vets, so Elfrid, Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock, besides Julius, have really been really cool with the young guys, and they're seeing a team of leaders. He doesn't want one leader on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right answer. I mean, it's got to be a group effort. I think it starts with Julius, but we need as much veteran leadership on this club as possible. I still think Elfrid Payton provides value to the team because he plays defense and he can pass occasionally. He can't shoot. We all know that. But they're in a situation right now where they need Noel. Noel is very important. He has to be that guy for Mitch to show him the right way because Mitch and Noel, I think, are very similar. And he's got to be a leader, and I think he is a leader. I like what Noel has said about Mitch. And then, when it comes to a guy like Julius has got to be in Obi's ear about this is what you need to do. This is what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do a lot of the things that I did last year. And maybe he could show him some of Julius' tape from last year, and this is what you shouldn't do. This is where you need to play. This is what you need to do in New York so you don't get in trouble partying. You need to do all those things. So I think Thibodeau understands that, and that's why he said what he said.
Ralph?
Great point, Latrell. I think but how do I say that? I think it's accurate to say that it's a team about the team leadership. He doesn't just want Julius Randle to be just the leader. It's a team leader. Not to mention that I stood up for Julius, and he is improving. But, it shows you that he still has a lot of flaws in my eyes when I heard that. So, right, he's not perfect. He has a lot of flaws, and the team should rely on him up to a certain point. And then he still has work to do. So he still needs to improve. He still has a lot of work to do. He may have some leadership qualities, but there's still a lot of he still has a lot of growing up to do in his game. He's shown flashes, but I don't think he's there yet. Maybe after one season, maybe he can rely on him more. But I think right now, the approach that he's saying to have a group of leaders, and I think Alec Burks is one of the most underrated leaders too in this team. It's a great idea. I think it's a great idea right now. I think if anybody I think you should rely on might be Burks. I think he might be the better one, the better veteran out of the three, who's more mature. And then, right now, Julius, I think, is maturing more now. He's showing a lot of level of maturity, and much props to him. I expected it. I foresaw. I predicted. But at the same time, I'm not gonna act like he's always been the most mature. He's always handled everything the right way, and he's learning, and he's still learning. So I'm glad he's learning, but I don't want to hold up your time.
No. Props to you, Ralph. You stood behind Randall, and we're seeing the game that you saw that some of us didn't see. Whether the assist and everything, we're seeing skills. So props to you, my friend. Please.
Oh yeah, I just want to say quick. I saw that he could produce. I know I knew that he's a 20. I know he could score 20 points off the rip. He doesn't have a problem scoring 20 points. He doesn't have a problem. And then I'm like, yo, man, this guy has been proving himself in this league, which is something that I think the youth can learn from. Frank needs to prove he can score 10 points and 5 assists if he wants to be in this league. Or if not, if he wants to be a utility player, fine. But it first starts with, nothing is given to you. Nobody's gonna let you score on them and like that in this league. Kevin Knox, he first has to prove he can. Well, actually, he did it for one season. He could score 10 points, but the point is, at first you want to push yourself to. You want to prove you can score 10 points in this league. Then you want to prove you can score 15 points in this league. And then you want to prove you can score 20 points in this league. And the same thing goes for rebounds. You want to prove that you can get 5. And then you want to prove 10. And I'm like, this guy's already maxed out. The only problem he has might be improving from 3 assists to 5 assists. I'm like, nobody sees it. But I'm like, I bet you this guy, as soon as he starts improving his assists and he starts to give the extra passes, it's over for everybody because he's unguardable. You can't guard him.
Stats that don't show up in the box score, setting a proper screen, things like that. He's a big body, man. That's
right.
That's a screen that you want to set, But also, I think Tibbs, from a manager standpoint, it's the right thing that if your heart and soul of a team is based on one player and something happens to that player, that leader, it deflates the whole team. But if you have a team of leaders, God forbid one of those guys go down, those other guys have been having voice in their voice heard in the locker room.
Well, see, that's a military approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody got to be willing to step up. Everybody got to know everybody's job, so that way, if your number's called, you're ready to rock and roll, and the ship is going to keep moving. You know what I mean? The train ain't going to be stuck in Penn Station because one person went down. And that says a lot about Tibbs' coaching style because that's exactly what went on in Chicago. When Derrick Rose went down, the few times he went down, especially the first time, I know I was shocked that team kept playing the way they was playing when they lost him. So I wasn't shocked when they lost him the second time that they were still rolling because they had showed that they could do it without him.
Exactly. So what do you think, Rob?
What was the original question?
It was just about they asked him about Julius's impact, and instead of really focusing on Julius's impact with the young kids as a vet, he just said it's a team event. We want the vets, Reggie and Alfred and Alec Burks, besides Julius, have really stepped up all of their game with helping these kids. What spot are they supposed to do? What are they doing right? Giving them some advice on what they're doing wrong, and building that camaraderie.
I think when you talk about it's like what he's saying right now, is like, you give compliments to everybody so you don't have to talk about everybody one-on-one, help the because if he goes through every player that then it's the next question. So you round it up in one. He did that before. So, it's his way of really, I think, just getting out of it. But, I think he sees what he sees and he's going to use them accordingly. If you show promise, he's going to, he's going to play you. You show a good attitude and everything, going to keep you on the team if he can for right now. But, I don't really think that it's anything different than anybody else until we see what the starting lineup is, which we already think that he's going to be a part of. So,
and rightly so. He's the best player on the team.
Yeah. So, with that being said, it's like, okay, yeah, I heard him when he said it, but, I really paid too much attention to it.
Yeah, but I think the problem with Fizz was what I love about Tibbs. It's about we. It's about us. If you got a guy talking about you've got a problem.
And see, that's what I like what Rob just said. See, Tibbs is very smart. He has coached in the New York market before, and he know if you give the media any kind of bulletin board material, they're gonna run that story and they're gonna run it in the ground, and that's gonna be the talking point the whole year. Well, you notice what Tibbs said about this player, but if you notice, all his compliments was complimentary about everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. What do you think, Joe?
With it's good seeing the vets are bought in. To me, it seems last year was kind of the team was thrown together of vets, but vets with less experience. You see, this year now you have Julius is here with the team. He knows what it's about. He knows the New York market. He doesn't seem to be too happy when he talks to the media. You kind of see with Julius's body language. It's just like he doesn't want to speak to the media.
It was brutal today. It was absolutely brutal. But you know what? You can't blame them. The first thing that hits you is like, how many stupid questions were asked of Tibbs, Obi, and Randall, where you just shake your head like, this person gets paid for that question? Oh, God. So no wonder that they just, whether Mitch laughing a week ago, some of the stuff that these reporters ask, they should be revoked their press credentials.
And think about this. Now you wonder why Dolan be buying them guys from the arena.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's just keep going with this. Last week was the first shot across the bow by the media, the fake news, the evil media, as I call it, that last week Tibbs made the comment about that this team, it's critical that this team has a star. But he also said, whether it's through development like we did with Jimmy Butler, or whether through the draft, whether it's through trades, whether it's through free agency. The next day, there was an article out there by the evil media that said, are the players angered, are the New York Knicks players angered by Tibbs' comments about this team needs a star? And they don't ever stop. So what do you think? I'll let you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They try.
It bothers me. It bothers me. It really does bother me. And I'll just say this briefly and pass it off. That's what. Look, as journalists, as media, you got to sell. Okay, I get all that. You got to do what you got to do to sell papers. Everybody loves controversy, but there's certain things to me that are just unethical. Like, to me, that what do you get out of that? You just hurt the team. You hurt the fan. Like, it's fake news. It's not a story. Like, if you want to talk about trade rumors, okay, and fake trade rumors, okay, at least we hear those every day. But if you're going to bring up something like that, I mean, come on. We got to be better as a media. And this is we're not just talking about the New York. This is blogs. This is people all over the NBA that love this stuff. It's gotten to a point where anybody can go on Twitter right now. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but my guy Incarcerated Bob, if you follow him, I mean, anybody can go on Twitter, NBA Legion Hoops. I see some of the most nonsense things trying to break up teams, and I'm like, those are my guys, man. Those are the ones fighting through the trenches. Can we at least be a little more respectful? That's all I got to say.
Well, it's not news anymore. It's opinion. So they're giving their opinion, but they're not giving the facts, man, and it's brutal. It's messed up. And here's another thing in the press conference again. They're always looking for something to try to get something. So the question to Tibbs was, in other sports such as the NFL, they've set up a line of succession due to COVID. Have you done anything to put a plan in place in case the worst happens? And Tibbs answers, you have to plan for everything. So you watch what other sports have done. You have to be prepared for it. So there is a plan in place, but hopefully you don't have to use it. And again, no different than we saw earlier. He keeps everything close to the vest. He didn't say who would be, in case, God forbid, he went down with the virus. So fellas, in case that's, I'm sorry.
Tibbs was just being honest when he said about the star player. We all know that the team needs a star player. He was just being honest. Why can't a person just be honest nowadays and tell the truth?
Yeah. And what teams have we seen that doesn't have a star player, that haven't been successful? You have to have a star player in this league. In fact, you have to have 2 star players to really be contending for a title in this league.
And that's what makes it hard for coaches. The thing is a lot of these guys, a lot of these players, they want to be told what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear to be a better player. And the minute the coach start telling them what they need to hear, then they got a problem with the coach, and that stuff started leaking out, and then the coach get fired.
Yeah,
that's the job of a coach, is to make the team better.
Yeah. Take it, Joe.
I
thought you were about to say something.
Yeah, what I was saying too about Rondo, like the media been criticizing, like even the fans and the media criticizing him all summer and all off season. So when they're trying to be nice to him and asking questions, you don't want to hear it. I heard was a Mark Berman asked a question, was it something to do? He goes, "You've been playing very well and passing the ball a lot in preseason. Can you continue it?" And he looked down the floor and he just said yes. And that was his one answer.
I was about to say, was that fantastic?
He did not want to deal with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, did not want to deal with them.
They're trying to be divisive.
Nah.
He should have looked at Mark Berman and said, "Can you walk and chew gum at the same time?" That's what he should have told him. He should say, "Can you walk and chew gum at the same time?"
And Mark said, "Let me take my gum out before I answer you." So,
but that's the thing with Randall, though. But Randall, I don't think they're maybe Westbrook. Westbrook is probably the one player that has more trade rumors about him all off season, other than Randall. Every other trade rumor you see every second day. It was twice a day. There was trade rumors around that. They're all put out by SNY, and then you have some of these ones like Mark Berman with the New York Post, and put all these rumors set out. So you don't want to deal with them. But what I like about Randall, I seen this year, was he's communicating. I think last year he was the guy. There was just a lot of turmoil with players last year. I think a lot of these just vets unproven. This year you have vets that come in. A lot of them have been in the playoffs, and there's a system in place, and all of these vets know they're in here to play and teach these young guys, but they know if these young guys beat them out, that they're going to possibly go to the bench, and they're all bought in on that. They all know it's not like they're demanding some positions. They know they're in here to help the organization, to help the young guys grow, and if the young guys start, then that's fine with them. And Austin Rivers even said it kind of like, I know he's probably wants to start a point guard job or 2-guard job, but he even said he doesn't mind coming off the bench. He just wants to be an impact to build something in New York. And I think that's the system that the organization have put in these young guys' heads, and with the vets. And vets aren't like on Bobby Portis's $15 million and Peyton's 12 or whatever. All these guys are on the same money, 5-6 million. And that's all the same money the rookie guys are on. So it's not about who's getting paid higher or lower. The only one on big money is Randall. So everyone's on the same level. And you can see it with the vets. Even like I've been seeing a lot with Randall, like on the sideline showing Obi Toppin things and showing these guys where to be, what to do. And you've even some of the rookies, I was saying quickly, is showing some of the vets what to do. So you can kind of see everyone is in on the same page. And that's why I think the Knicks are going to be a lot more organized and a lot more competitive this year. Will they win a lot of games? I don't think so. I don't think they'll win more than, I think, in around 20. But if they win more than 25, I wouldn't be surprised because it's Tibbs having them organized. I just think this year's it's the start of something new, and it's the start of something special, and it's a start of just a functional organization, and it starts off with the vets knowing their role, and I think that's very important. And it's something they didn't have last year.
Ron, take it.
I would say everybody. I would say everybody knowing the role.
This team looks like they got more of that me against the world type attitude. Yeah. Like they're not listening to no outside noise, and that's what I appreciate. And you can tell the importance of having a leader because you're gonna follow your leader. Tibbs ain't buying into none of that media hype. He ain't got nothing to say to him really other than keeping it strictly business, strictly PC, nothing, not giving them nothing they can use. And these players are following suit.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I got a question for you. That God forbid, Tibbs came down with the virus. Who do you think next man up is on the coaching totem pole?
Well, technically, it would be Johnny Bryant. Since Johnny Bryant's label is assistant head coach. He's the one who's the assistant head coach. Everyone else is just assistant coaches.
No, it's Mike Woodson.
Mike Woodson. Johnny Bryant. Johnny Bryant is labeled the assistant. I don't think so.
Johnny Bryant's assistant head coach.
I think they addressed that.
Kev's right.
It's Johnny Bryant.
Is Johnny Bryant?
Yeah.
Kev's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woodson, Kenny Payne, and what's the other guy's name?
Yashimoto. Andrew Greer, Yashimoto.
Head coaches.
Yeah, and Greer, they're the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
But Johnny Bryant is labeled the assistant
head coach. Exactly. So, fellas, anybody else? I agree with Kev.
So here's my thing, I guess I'm sorry, Joe, but to piggyback off of that, I think truly.
What was the question?
I think that Tibbs
the next man up. God forbid something happened with Tibbs with this terrible plague that's taking over our society, who would be the next guy up on the coaching thing to take over the team.
I think that Tibbs
okay.
is grooming Johnny Bryant to be his successor anyways. Because Johnny Bryant is
Tibbs
like
or Leon Rose.
30, still in his 30s, I think. So he's still a young guy and, came highly, like Tibbs really wanted him. And so we paid him. Like, he's the only coach other than Kenny Payne out of college, but he was still under contract in Utah. And Tibbs really wanted him. So we had to buy him out from his contract in Utah to come here. So I think that Tibbs is like, because Tibbs is what, 62?
Exactly.
And it's like he might have the whole 5 years in him, but at the same time, he's not going to have that much more after that. So
yeah, Johnny Bryant is 35.
Yeah, 35. So
yeah, he's 35.
But he has NBA experience. Kenny Payne has had a great career coaching, but not on an NBA sideline.
But
Woodson got a track record.
Absolutely, but I think that they're looking for youth.
I think Thibodeau's going to be okay. I think he's God forbid, but I think he's not married. He has no kids.
Oh.
Thibodeau.
Yeah, he's married to basketball, no doubt.
He's married to basketball, and that's what I want in my coach. Obviously, it would be terrible if he got it, but I think he's not going. He's going to be secluded in a room, focused on basketball, and let's pray.
You brought me to a point. You brought me to a point, Sprewell, when Steve, you said earlier about how Tibbs have adopted analytics, how he went around. You know the scariest thing when you think about that? Everybody know this guy pedigree for being a hard worker, putting in the time, putting in the effort. Now, if you had this guy committed to analytics, imagine how much better his coaching is going to be.
Yeah.
Because what he was doing before, it wasn't based on analytics. It was based on what the eyes saw. It wasn't, and it's going to be scary. Yeah, it's going to be scary.
And I really respect that. A lot of guys that have been around the league, technology could be intimidating. They don't want to take on those things. They have somebody that basically does it. But if he spent time at MIT and he spent time with Morey and he's embracing this as a tool to make him a better coach, that says a lot about somebody, rather than saying, no, I'm going to use my chalk on the board. I'm an old time guy. This is the way I am. And no.
I feel sorry for these coaches that got to go up against him.
I'm going to make this other analogy back to the whole Johnny Bryant thing. I can see Johnny Bryant being the Jeff Van Gundy to Tibbs that Jeff Van Gundy was to Pat Riley.
That's an amazing.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I like how you said that.
Yeah, I like that too. That way you carry on that tradition.
Exactly.
I like that. I'll take that.
That foundation will be set. Johnny Bryant gonna see it firsthand, being in that cockpit. Y'all know I like them playing references.
Because how old was Jeff Van Gundy? Might have been in his 30s too.
Yeah, he was very young. He was very young.
We have an impressive coaching staff here. I really like our coaching staff.
I don't think that Van Gundy had ever had like head coaching experience. Maybe like a collegiate level or something, if that.
Yeah, and if it was, I think it might have been at some Division II or maybe even a JUCO or something. I don't think it was even on no higher level like that.
So let's segue for a second, and we meant to do it the last few days, but let's talk about Tibbs and his assistant coaches. So the first one is Andy Greer. He's an assistant coach. He worked as a defensive coordinator under Tibbs with the Timberwolves. He's another coach that's noted for his discipline, hard work, which we know is desperately needed by these Knicks. He's previously served as a scout for the Knicks, worked with Tibbs and Jeff Van Gundy, later on Don Chaney's coaching staff. He spent time in the USA Basketball working with Pops, and he was also an assistant coach with Fratello. So that is a really impressive resume.
Fratello?
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The next guy on the list is Darren Ehrman. He worked together with Tibbs at the Celtics. Strong relationship. He's a defensive expert who's known for his relentless work ethic, and that's exactly the type of person that fits with Tibbs' mentality. Then you have Greer's brother, Larry Greer, and he was appointed by the Knicks. And considering his previous experience, they're saying that he's going to be mainly responsible for scouting the right players for this organization in the near future, developing young athletes, which sounds a whole lot like Miami's, their philosophy that you get the right players to fit what we're trying to do. The next one is everyone that we know is Kenny Payne, again, assistant coach. He's known as one of the top specialists when it comes to developing big men for the NBA. He's currently working with Kevin, Obi, Randall, and Mitch. And the Knicks fans are really confident that he's the best in the business. He's an excellent addition, and he's working on our player development. And God willing, he's the Kevin Knox whisperer. Then who we're talking about, and as Kevin said properly, that Johnny Bryant is the associate head coach. So Bryant had his own sports academy, the Bryant Sports Academy, at which he would train players. But once he left and was offered a job by Utah for their development staff, he worked closely with Dame Lillard, Gordon Hayward, Donovan Mitchell, and he's known in the league as the guard whisperer for his player development and getting the most out of players. And but he's also a very good basketball coach, they talked about. So players at both Utah and Knicks have said they've never watched as much film as they've done because of Johnny Bryant. So they call him JB, and he says he texts them at all hours and just saying, check this out, check that out. So they said he's just nonstop. You know, the mottos get better every day, and Johnny Bryant's on them every day. And as we talked about, a lot of times everyone says Tibbs, but so many, whether college and pros, so many of the development is really the time spent with the assistant coaches, not necessarily the head coach.
Awesome.
We know about Woodson. He also he has 9 years as a head coach. He knows the NBA inside out. He's worked with the Knicks, and he's respected. Dice Yashimoto. He reprises his role as Tibbs' right-hand man, and he serves as assistant to the head coach. He previously worked with Tibbs as a special assistant to the president of operations when he was in Minnesota, and he's recently held the director of basketball strategy at University of Georgia, and he brought a lot of intel on Anthony Edwards. So, and just one of the final things was Tibbs put out a statement that read, "We are assembling a hardworking, well-rounded coaching staff that will embody everything we want to be about: accountability, development, teaching, and a winning culture." So I'm going to kick it around the horn right now. So, panel, what do you think of this staff? So do you think Tibbs' the definition of culture is stops, high IQ on both sides of the ball, discipline on both sides of the ball, and character? So let's start it with you, Rob.
I think a little bit of both, but it seems like it doesn't take any time once you stick to a star player like Mitchell over there in Utah. Once a player says something good about you, it tends to travel around the league, because as I recall, that's the same thing that happened to Fizdale. Somebody put Wade in them, put them on the map, and then all of a sudden everybody took them serious, and then we all seen what that turned out to be. So it takes a little bit more look to get into this guy. But I know Woodson. We all familiar with Woodson and what he brings to the table. Mm-hmm. And if you surround yourself with Woodson, that's a good pick. That's a good person to be around that understands New York and understands players.
I saw a picture of when Fizz first came on, and they showed a picture of him with his hand patting his player on the back, and I shook my head and I went, you know what? Some guys, and I saw it whether in basketball, I saw it in football with the Ryan family and stuff like that. Some people are meant to be assistant coaches or coordinators, not head coaches. So,
Turner.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw him tapping the guy on the back, I said, assistant coaches tap you on the back with their hands, and head coaches strangle you around your neck with their hands. They don't play great head coaches. They're not trying to be your friend. They're trying to develop you to be the best if you can be, and if not, later, next man
up. That
up.
was his biggest mistake.
There's a huge difference between being the guy calling the shots versus being one of just the assistants. It's just it's a completely different chair. And once if you're not in that chair before, I've seen so many assistants get that opportunity that have failed, and I've seen a lot of assistants succeed. But it is completely different.
Yeah, I tell you what I see with what Tibbs have done is like building a house, man. You build that house, you start with that foundation, then you go up with the walls, then you go up with the roof. You know, it's a step-by-step process. It's not going to happen overnight. But when you got a foundation, when you got everybody in lockstep that all got the same type of credentials, you can't help but succeed. Because what that signals to your players is, look, the same way I'm expecting all you guys to work together and know your stuff and be together locked in. Look at this coaching staff. Every last one of these guys had the same type of attitude toward the game, the same way of thinking. And that in business is all about relationships. And Tibbs, man, Tibbs got a dream team, man. He really do. And he got the older coaches that know the old school way of playing basketball. And then you got that infused with the young guy like Johnny Bryant. That's going to bring a different way. And that's why shout out to Tibbs, because Tibbs is showing that he's willing to adapt to the new age NBA. As you know, as well reported on him, man. Dealing with going to Pop and going to Krzyzewski. I mean, and even going out there to Golden State, it can't do anything but help him, man. So shout out to Tibbs, man. I think we're gonna be, I keep saying it, man. We probably gonna be the most improved basketball team this year, and I really feel that's gonna happen.
So I just want to say this about Mike Woodson, if I may, because I need to. A few people in the chat have said it, and I think we need to clarify who Mike Woodson is and what he stands for. Mike Woodson is a culture guy. He's a guy. When he was here, he got them to play defense. Okay. If you want to knock him in the Pacers series where he decided to go big instead of staying small when having Carmelo at the 4 the whole year is what got us there, okay, I'll listen to that. Maybe there were some X's and O's things he could have done better. But Mike Woodson is a good coach, okay? He helped us. And so, look, I'm happy. He's respected around the league. The most important thing is, again, he's a culture guy. He's a good defensive coach. And he knows New York, like Rob said. He's a perfect fit for what we're trying to build. So I'm not going to sit here and criticize a couple of X's and O's things from 8 years ago that I've gotten over. You got to get over it, okay? We lost to the Pacers. So what? I'm moving on. Mike Woodson is a
time we even been in the playoffs.
And he always signs all my autographs, all my basketball cards outside the hotel. Thank you.
Yeah, and don't forget, he's an Indiana boy. So when you learn from Bobby Knight, you have a different look at the world, how you run a basketball operation.
Hey, fellas, hey, I got to run, man. Hey, it was
just
great.
1 second, Ron.
Yeah.
To the chat again, please. We're asking your help. Please send out prayers to Ron, his mom, and the family. We're with you, our friend.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Yeah, this is rough. You know what I mean? We suspected this about 3 years ago when my son tore his ACL. And, I took mom to Colorado with us, man. And she wasn't herself. You know what I mean? It's one thing to believe it, but then to get that diagnosis, man, it's rough. And I worry about my pops more than anything, man.
Yeah.
Because those two been together for about 50 years. That's my mom's only boyfriend. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
So
sending out prayers. My wife and I went through with both of our sets of parents elder care, and it's difficult, but doing the right thing. Nobody ever said doing the right thing is going to be easy. So we're behind you.
Yeah, man. Hey, salute to the chat, man. I appreciate everybody, man. Y'all guys, man, like I say, man, support Freezy and this platform, man. Good content. Ain't nobody else doing this, man. Not this time of night. Ain't nobody else doing it. Where you can come and you can talk Knicks talk at 1:40 in the morning. Who's doing that? So, hey, big shout out to Freezy. Congrats, man. Sub, hit those notification bells. Legion of Knicks, man, support that channel. Sim, hey, hope everything work out with that situation, man. He's the godfather. Support these guys, man. What else can I say?
God bless our friend.
Let's get that thing tomorrow night, man. Hey, all I want to know is that we don't fold like Nate Robinson. We get up on that canvas.
Nah.
And we let Indiana know tomorrow night that we're there. It ain't gonna be no pushover. And we're gonna what I want tomorrow, fellas, more than anything, win, lose, or draw. I want us to send a message to the league that them days of thinking the New York Knicks are a laughing stock is over. So with that, y'all have a good night, man.
You too.
Amen. Amen.
Elfrid Payton got some people didn't like last year. Payton, when I think it was Jay Crowder, where he pushed him. I'm old school, man. You come into my house, you're beating us, and you're embarrassing us, and then you're trying to embarrass us more. I would have done the same thing as Payton. So I like getting that tough, a tough mentality that, hey, we're no pushovers anymore. You may beat us, but you're gonna be looking at scrapes on your arms and blood on your pants at the end of the game. And I like that toughness. So here's another follow-up question that again I think illustrates Tibbs growing as a coach and trying to be a better coach or a better person. Also, the question was, what are your work days now compared to your days in Minnesota, where you were also head of basketball operations? And Tibbs' answer was, it was a lot to do both. And obviously I prefer what I'm doing now with the Knicks, and Leon and Wes can deal with all that other stuff. I don't regret it. It was an opportunity to learn, and I did. That's life. You move on to the next challenge, and I'm very excited about being here. So what do you think about that, Kev?
Excuse me. We all know that Tibbs didn't do the best job in Minnesota. And in recent history, you look at these really, really good coaches who have tried to juggle multiple hats. Even Doc Rivers failed as, the president of basketball operations, the general manager or whatever, wearing a dual hats. And, even Pop, Pop doesn't wear that hat. He just focuses on coaching and, the on-court product and leaves, I'm pretty sure he has a say-so in it, but, he leaves that to RCB for it. And it's good that Tibbs, has taken a step back and looked at his flaws and saw how he can get better and become more antiquated with today's players. I guess because I don't think I actually mentioned the earlier question, it's good that he has the staff that he has, and I reckon it with development is key for a young team because you are invested, because you don't have that superstar. You don't have like the best veterans, so you need to get the most out of the young players that you have. And so the coaches turn into teachers. You have to teach these players how to play at the level that a lot of them, their draft positions hold them to, and get the most out of them. And I hearken to like Toronto and their coaching staff. How many players on Toronto? I mean, look at last year when they didn't have Kawhi. They really didn't miss a beat. I think they were still second in the Eastern Conference with players like OG Anunoby and Siakam, who came out of nowhere, and Fred VanVleet, who came out of nowhere, and what's his name? The dude that took RJ's spot on the rookie team.
No,
Terrence Davis.
Oh, okay.
They also had Serge Ibaka too and Marc Gasol.
But Marc Gasol is over the hill at this point in his career. It's not like he's the Marc Gasol of old. I think he might average like 6 points.
Right, they traded for him. They had Jonas Valanciunas.
They traded him like 2-3 years ago.
Right, they traded Jonas Valanciunas for Marc Gasol.
The point I'm making is Marc Gasol wasn't like the main contributor. They didn't build a team around Marc Gasol.
No.
he was a veteran piece. I mean, at this point in his career, he's like Nerlens Noel.
I forgot that Kawhi Leonard wanted Marc Gasol. Sorry, I distracted your whole conversation for Karen. Sorry.
No, so you look at what the coaching staff was able to do for these players. Like Van Vliet was undrafted and just signed a $90 million contract extension. You know, Siakam was a late first.
Late, exactly.
And look at him now.
I think Van Vliet should have been drafted, though. He should have been drafted.
I mean, you can say that in hindsight.
I thought he should have been drafted. But I'm just saying that, like, during the draft, I was shocked that he didn't get drafted. To me, that's just my opinion. Watching him in college.
I don't even know what
Wichita State
was even drafted.
Dave
But
Stallworth.
but you look at what a coaching staff can do for setting the culture and bringing the best out of players, and that's what you just want for our players, because we all see the talent. You know, we just need it to come together, and that's what this coaching staff is here for. And having that ringleader and Tibbs to be able to put it all together is important, because it's not something that David Fizdale could have done.
Yeah.
So
I think Fizdale was just a good assistant coach. He just, I think LeBron and other people try to support him, but that's one of those tough situations. Because I think even with the Knicks now, he would have been a decent assistant coach, but it's just he as a head coach, it wouldn't. It's just
assistant coaches work one-on-one. Head coaches work with the whole team, trying to coordinate everyone. So those assistant coaches, whether working with a guy with 1,000 shots a day and working on all these other things, it's a whole different dynamic. Trying to get everyone on the same wavelength, communicating everyone, with the same goal. And, that's why what Kevin was just talking about, that Toronto is very blessed to have Nurse. He is a top-notch coach. And it was crazy because they got rid of a top-notch coach in Casey. Yeah, who I think was the coach of the year before the year he was fired.
And Nick Nurse.
I thought they were going to bomb. I thought they were going to bomb that next season when I'm like, Nick Nurse is the head coach with no Dwayne Casey. And look, they took over.
I mean, Nick Nurse has a background in development. And I think that they looked at their roster and they said, okay, we have a bunch of really young guys who are ascending. We can get this one superstar player, and hopefully we can all piece it together. I mean, obviously they did, but that was their strategy. Going in, I mean, they took a gamble, and like I said, even last year, without Kawhi Leonard, they were still second in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they had a great year, man. They had a great year.
Great system.
And so, that's all we can expect and hope for when it comes to these Knicks is, can these assistants and Tom Thibodeau raise the level of play from the kids that we have? And
it's not going to be easy.
We'll see what happens tonight. Moving forward this season. So as we all know, I'm always overly optimistic. I'm glass half full.
Hey, that's a nice way to go through life. So that's nothing to.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
I mean, even when we had Eddie Curry and Zach Randolph, I was like, "Ooh, this is like a 4 seed in the East." We're just going to.
How can't you get excited about Eddie Curry's 2-inch vertical? That would get anybody excited.
Yeah, I was like, we got the 6-man Jamal Crawford. We are taking off.
Yeah.
So that shows about my optimism.
I can never get my life back. Watching that.
So what do you think, Rob?
I think that were we on the coaching staff? I was in the
Yeah, man. We were on the coaching staff, and just about how right now it's all about culture. That the Tibbs and his assistant coaches are instilling that discipline, that hard work, that accountability to themselves, to their teammates, to the organization.
Yeah, Tibbs has a leg up, him and Woodson, because they've been here before. They're familiar with Dolan, I think that Tibbs came in on the right with his 5-year contract to establish culture. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned with Dolan been staying out the way for a minute, ever since Phil. So it's easy to use him as a scapegoat because that's what the press want to do. But
Yeah.
he picked what we wanted, even as far as Phil is concerned, and he stepped out the way. So we can honestly say for the last 8 years, Dolan ain't been a problem. It's always been the team. And the culture has been said about like, they haven't had any problem players except for like what it comes to look like Alonzo Trier. Whatever the problem was, we ain't gonna never know. But I felt as though that they were building a culture, but it was hard to stick to the culture because Fizdale wasn't being true to the culture himself. You can't set a culture, then you're the one who, is not going by what you said, even though it might have came a lot from the front office. I think Steve Mills had a lot to do with that. The position that he put the coaching staff in. That's a real weird position to be put in, that you're hired to raise young players, and then you commit to that. And then the next year, you only on a 2-3 year deal. And then the next year, they come with 15 power forwards and say we're a playoff team. So he got blindsided by the organization just for Fizdale. So now it went from culture to the hell with these young boys. We got to win games because this is what management said. Because they wouldn't take the hit because they didn't get Durant. They wouldn't take the hit. They wouldn't stand up to Dolan and say, look, we made a mistake. So we go get these 15 power forwards, and then we use the young players as a scapegoat. So they had to tear down that whole thing. And if Perry spoke up to it, I think that's the only reason why he's still here.
Yeah. Well, Tibbs says that look on his face like an OG, like stop calling this a comeback. I've been here for years, man. So
somebody had to tell Tibbs and tell Dolan, even if it was Perry himself, like, look, I'm gonna go along with this, but I didn't sign up for this. And that's the only reason why he's still here, because everybody else is gone.
Yeah.
So he must have been the only one who said, look, I don't have nothing to do with that. Believe me, Steve Mills is the perpetrator of this one right here.
Good points.
So, so now the culture begins.
Yep. And I think what we're saying is that culture begins with stops. It begins with players passing that ball, playing both sides of the. Yep. Exactly. What do you think, Ralph?
About building culture, right? That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a great job. I kind of want to. I don't want to be tough on Fizdale. I mean, I want to give him the kind of culture Leon Rose is building. David Fizdale can argue. Listen, I didn't have any of this. I didn't have no Kenny Payne. I didn't have no Johnny Bryant. I didn't have nobody.
I had Royal Ivy, man. What are you doing to me?
Yeah, so I could see like David Fizdale be like, hey, listen, if I had that some kind of support like that, I probably would have had a better chance. But was
Fizdale not allowed to pick his own staff?
What was that?
I'm just asking. I don't remember, but was Fizdale allowed to pick his own guys?
I don't know, but I mean, maybe some, but he
wasn't.
Okay.
He couldn't. He definitely didn't spend $1 million to bring in Kenny Payne. I mean, I don't know how much it cost to bring Kenny Payne over.
It had to be,
but that would have been. I mean, had David Fizdale had that, I don't want to. I mean, I'm not trying to bring Tom Thibodeau down, right? But I'm just trying to keep things in context, in perspective. Sure. But I mean, you don't think if you ask me, hey, listen, if David Fizdale had Kenny Payne helping out Kevin Knox's game, that that would have helped him out big time
I
too.
agree.
Johnny Bryant was with Tibbs. I mean, was with Fizdale. He probably would have helped out DSJ's game too. And not to mention that those kind of extra assistant coaches, they help out the perspective of the coach. Like, listen, this is what we should do. And also, look, who was it that mentioned about Johnny Bryant sharing videos and showing so much videos about?
It was me.
Yeah. I was just Steven. So look at that. Like, you put that in, that's enough ammo that this is such a strong coaching team. It's like the strongest coaching team we can have. So, I got to give credit to Tom, but I also got to give credit to all the hard work that these other guys are doing too, right? So, so that's all I want to say. That Fizdale for one person, I mean, I just think that had Tibbs, last season it was Fizdale didn't do a good job, but I think Fizdale has a good chance to succeed, and not just for wins, but a lot of growth for the team.
Yeah. What do you think, Joe?
I think Fizdale was brought in because they thought they kind of the plan set where they were going to get a max free agent. Then they traded KP, so right, 2 max free agents. And when that fell through, then he was left with nothing. What people say about he dealt a bad hand. He had to, on the players that were signed, he had to sign off on them. The coach always seems to have at least a little bit of say on his roster on what he needs. So he signed off a lot of these guys. And then I think he should have been given a little bit more of a chance, but Steve Mills more or less just hung him out to dry. So now we have the new regime, and we have a smarter. Because remember, Steve Mills isn't even a basketball guy. He was working for the cable company at one point, and Dolan gave him the job with basketball. So now we have an actual basketball brain in an agent who's been around for years, being an agent of some of the best players in the league, and a guy in Worldwide West who has a big name in the league too. So we have good guys in the front office. We have a coach who's been in and around the league for 20-something years now and has the experience, has done it all. He had the GM, he didn't do too well with the GM experience over, and the president operations over in Minnesota. He still has that experience and that he can take over from here. And they brought in some smart guys, guys that have good reputations and guys that are known for development. So to me, the Knicks have probably over the last 20 years, Dolan's probably realized, all right, I'm not getting big free agents here. We got to build this thing from the ground. So they went in now. They got to build the house. They got their contractors. They have a few guys as their foundation, and we got to build from there. And then the stars will come. Or you won't have to pay for a star. You'll develop your own. And I think that's the best approach to go. You can never go in every season having money and expecting stars to come. That's not the way to go into a season. Is to keep going through free agency. That's something that's like me paying rent without money. That's gambling. That's something that's not guaranteed. And in this sport, you have to have guarantees and a plan. And last year there was no plan. This year it seems to be a plan. We're going to get these young guys developed, and whatever young guys develop and play well for us and show progress will stay. The ones that don't will be on Ron's plane.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's the right approach to go in. We have numerous draft picks. We have the cap space just in case. We have cap space for 2 max free agents, but be smart with the money. And that's what I think they're going to do. I think we're going to have cap space for the next 3 or 4 years. Every year we're going to build, and we're going to get 1 or 2 year deals until someone actually big comes. or is a trade for a big guy? Because I don't see them going this route of second tier free agents. They're gonna be smart with the cap money, and they're just gonna let this thing rock. And that's what I don't have for Knicks fans.
Joe, I got a
We've
question
been
for
patient
you.
for 20 years.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we're going to be doing this the next 3 or 4 years, like you say, why you don't have no confidence that something in the organization may pop as that all-star? You don't seem to.
No, but that's what I'm saying is, you don't let me finish. Hold on a second. What I was saying was, they're going to keep the cap space, and if someone comes, they're going to something may pop in the organization. I'm not saying nothing's going to pop. I'm just saying we're going to have flexibility over the next 3 or 4 years. They're not just going to go out and throw money. They're going to be smart. So if something pops, like they're going to, if RJ pops and becomes a superstar that we think he can be, they're going to have the money to pay him, and they're going to always have flexibility. They're not going to go out and be old Knicks and start spending unnecessary money. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying this. They're going to have the money over the next few years. They ain't going to just go blow it.
Hey guys, I just want to say it was good talking to you guys, but I'm gonna head out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, guys.
It was a pleasure. Thanks
Peace
so much.
out, Shadow Moses.
Likewise, man. Good listening to you all your takes, guys. All right, Joe.
Have
You
good
take it
dreams
easy, all right?
about Julius. Have
God
good
bless.
dreams about Julius for tomorrow. Okay?
All right, we'll do, guys. We'll do. Take it easy, Latrell.
I'm not going to give Fizdale the benefit of the doubt. I'm not
Thank
doing
you,
that.
Kevin.
Fizdale was a used car salesman.
He did a great interview with nothing behind it.
He was horrible at X and O's. He was horrible with the whiteboard. He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't.
His lineups were weird. He wasn't really playing the right
strange. And look what he did with, why he got fired from the Grizzlies.
And so to sit here and say, it's just communication. Obviously, if you can't communicate with veterans, because Mark Gasol was like, oh, well, he didn't communicate and da 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 da.
And he had a good reputation. It wasn't like he had a reputation of being a tough guy. A difficult guy to deal with.
And as Freezy brought up, Freezy brings up the game we had against the Celtics. And, we had Brad Stevens go over there to Jason Tatum, who had a bad game, and Brad Stevens building them up. And he looked on the other sideline, and David Fizdale is chewing out Kevin Knox. And it's like, you want him to be this is at the time, this is your prize rookie.
He killed people's confidence, man. He hurt your boy's development like crazy. I agree with the guy, Saran, the man that says he killed Knox's development. I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
And so
you can't. I'm frustrated talking about it, Kevin. I agree with you.
Yeah, and to say "Oh, I'm a head coach has some say in his staff." So to say and say, "Oh, he couldn't get the best," he got who he wanted to get. So that argument right there also is by the wayside. Because the one thing we can say about James Dolan is he's not afraid to cut that check.
No, he hasn't.
That's the one thing you can say. James Dolan will spend money. That's not an issue. So to say that David Fizdale are going to get the best coaches, it's like, no. I don't
have some say. You can't say that the organization made all the decisions about his coaching staff. They may have said, no, you should go to this guy. Maybe this guy wanted a little bit more, and they're equal. But David Fizdale, of course he had say in his coaching staff. Nobody's taking any job, and you have no say. I don't believe that for a second.
Do you think Vogel had any insight, or say when they hired Jason Kidd as an assistant? So all of them have some pressure put on them. Whether
there's situations like I'm pretty sure if given the complete say so, Mike Woodson wouldn't be on Tom Thibodeau's coaching staff. I mean, they have no connection whatsoever. But we all agree that it's, I'm sure, a good hire. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of around the league was like, this may not be your guy, but unless you have that clout, like I'm pretty sure Greg Popovich can pick and choose who Greg Popovich wants. At this tenure, and at his tenure, it's like
that's what chips will do to you.
The only reason Fizdale got this job, again, they thought because of LeBron and Wade, because he was respected, they thought they could get in the room with free agents and Fizdale was going to attract people here. That's the only reason he got the job. He didn't get the job because he could coach.
But the thing, but I look at, and people say he was a good assistant coach in Miami. I look at it like, how much was he? Because Spoelstra, to me, seems like the kind of coach that's very hands-on. You know, you hear all the stories about Spoelstra coming up. He's always been very hands-on. So it's like, really, what was David Fizdale really doing down there in Miami?
He wasn't doing
Throwing
anything.
the ball back to the guy after he shot.
He was sitting there. He was sitting there talking to LeBron, saying, "Hey, do you need some Gatorade?" Like, I mean, come on, I don't buy it. He was here to get free agents. He failed, and I'm mad about it. But we got to move on. So I'm not giving Fizdale. Still got paid, man. He still got paid a lot of money
of the NBA. That's what David Fizdale is, the Adam Gase of the NBA.
I agree. He got paid, man.
And now he's doing the gig on announcing. So
I got 2 more weeks of Adam Gase, and then it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. All of us are longtime Jet fans. Can't wait for that.
Are you sure they might give him?
No, he's gone. He's out of here.
They're going to give him like a 3-year extension. Why?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Because what are the Jets?
He's gone. Out of here. Black Monday for coaches.
They need to get somebody in to keep Trevor Lawrence at bay because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is.
We're not even getting Trevor Lawrence.
College of the Jets.
We don't even have the number 1 pick anymore.
Like Kevin and I said the other night, we want the kid out of Oregon to build out.
Penny Sewell is. Here's the thing: Penny Sewell is the highest rated tackle since Joe Staley. He's the only tackle ever to win the Outland Trophy as a sophomore. That shows you how good of a tackle he was as a sophomore. So,
yes, Daryl, we're still paying Fizz. Yes. The answer is yes.
Might be playing Hornacek at this point in time.
The answer is yes. Are we paying Fisher? Probably yes. Are we paying Hornacek? Yes. We're paying all of them, okay?
We might be still paying Don Chaney at this point in time.
Hey, we're still paying Noah $6 million a year.
But my thing is like, well, I look at the salary cap and I'm saying, this is just right with. Man, I can't wait to that day that I see, we sign re-up Kevin Knox for that max.
Oh my God, I'm not there yet. Can we relax with that talk?
Sign who?
Can we get to that talk?
Number 20 to you.
I'm not ready for that discussion with you, Kevin, right now.
But Kevin Knox is making that $20 million a year.
Oh my God! Let's get to that later.
Don't say making that, deserving that $20 million a year. That's a
earning that $20 million.
You don't want to make nothing.
If Kevin Knox gets $20 million a year, I'm thinking everybody would be happy at that point in time because he would have deserved it.
No doubt. Hey, just a quick shout out to the chat.
Randall, he making 18.
Yeah. Quick shout out to the chat. We're at 93 likes. Please, we need your help to hit that magic 100. So please keep hitting those likes, subscribe, and reminder buttons to support our boy Freezy. Also, a shout out to the mod Sima Bodega, New Year, the new Knicks. Hey, it's been a crazy night the last few nights in the chat, man. People just saying crazy stuff. But I see our friend from last night, State of New York, is in High State. Hope you had a good day today.
State, I love you, man. You're my boy.
He was great yesterday. We have our George Alvernia still here. God bless you. CJ versus the World, David Parker, Daryl Pemberton, Sirhan the Man, Ronnie Montero. Really appreciate all your support. So, again, thanks to the mods for all your hard work and all that's really appreciated. And don't forget to check out our guy Freezy in the morning. It's a great show, Knicks Morning Drive. So, just real quick to finish up on what I brought up earlier about the analytics on Tibbs that I'm reading the article now that during his unemployment after the Minnesota stint, Coach Tom Thibodeau visited MIT's famous Sloan Analytics Conference led by former Rockets and current Sixers GM Daryl Morey. Tibbs, who worked under Morey in Houston, has embraced the world of analytics despite his old school reputation. A fastidious preparer, the 62-year-old coach regards the analytics of net efficiency that we touched on earlier as his most important barometer, combining the critical offensive stat with the critical defensive stat in one number. And to add to that, Knicks president Leon Rose bolstered the analytics department with hires Sean McClain, a Wharton product, who was a treasury analyst for Capital One Bank, and Kelsey Roberts, who worked with the Pacers. So they are absolutely outfitting this team, giving them all the tools. Before I retired, one of my specialties was in finance, was risk management, where you're running models. And today with the world of AI and running all of these different models, it's really important for us to embrace these tools because it's changing the world as we know it. So, Latrell, what do you think?
Hey, you said a lot of good stuff there. What specifically would you like?
I just love that, like we were just saying, that they're not afraid to make the investment and not afraid to think out of the box and say, you know what, let's bring this guy over from a Wharton. Let's bring over a day trader. These people that that understand looking at certain anomalies in information, allow them to get a competitive advantage.
Yeah, I think it's what good organizations do. You have to think outside the box. You have to somehow get a competitive advantage, or at least keep up with what other people are doing. With analytics in particular, I think analytics are helpful. They're useful. Should never ignore analytics. It's a big part of the game. Should you just focus solely on analytics? Of course not. I think some coaches and some managers, including the NBA, NFL, my boy John Harbaugh, he uses it like crazy, and he drives me nuts because he has no feel for the game. So I believe more in a feel, but of course you need to use analytics. But no, look, the Knicks are building an organization that is going to be respected again because they're doing the right things to get back to where we need to be, and that's the greatest franchise in the history of the world. When the Knicks are good, the world is good. The world is moving better. The economy is good. People feel they just make people's lives happy. Okay, that's how I look at it. I don't know many people. I just think the NBA is better. So do whatever you got to do. Okay, and I just, like I said, I think if you got to bring in the smartest people from Wharton, if you got to bring in people from across the country that have a miracle to save this franchise, do whatever you got to do. That's all I have to say.
Rob, what do you think about them opening up the checks to make sure that we have every tool available?
Analytics.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. That's what you can expect from Dolan. He don't mind spending some money. But now it seems as though he's gonna split. He's spending it on the plan instead of just throwing it away. So if they want to open up that analytics thing, they can go right ahead. That's something else that we can put in the utility belt. That's about it on that.
I believe that analytics should be a part of the game, but it should be something that
it's ancillary.
Is your primary focus, because you have to have a feel for the game. I don't want us to be ran like. We all see what analytics did to the Tampa Rays, and
bringing in the wrong guy at the wrong time.
Yeah, why did they take out Blake Snell? That made no sense.
Analytics.
Move. When you were watching that live, didn't that make you upset? Didn't that really offended me as a fan of sports that would happen?
But it's a phenomenal example by Kevin.
You can't let analytics run what you do. It has to be. Sports was sports before analytics came into it. You have to have a feel for the ebb and flows of the game. Absolutely. And that's just something that computers can't always do.
I wasn't even a Rays fan, man, and when I felt bad. That was terrible. That's all I gotta say. Keep going, Kevin. I'm sorry.
There are gray areas that computers don't look at.
Yeah, I mean, who would have known what would happen if Snell would have stayed in that game?
He would have got the out. He would have got the out.
I don't want it to be like, we're in a game and we're winning and you have a player that's just hitting and analytics like, well, he's played this many minutes, we got to take him out. And
the Yankees did the same thing with Paxton.
Yeah.
He started and they pulled him.
The guy was dealing. You give up one single and you overreact like that in that type of game with his pedigree. Give me a break. It's what's everything that's wrong with sports. To your point, Kevin. Go ahead.
That's analytics. And that's what I say. It can't be the bedrock foundation of what a team does. Like Houston, I think, relied too much on analytics. They had a good product, and they was like, "Oh, it must be analytics." And it's like, no, you have a good product because you have
good
James Harden and at one point Chris Paul and Eric Gordon, and that's why you're good. And then it just didn't work out. It can only take you so far. So it's good that we use it. It's good that we have it. It's a nice tool to have, but
like I said, it's great for seeing trends, and that you could take a step back and say, "Hey, I didn't realize that this is occurring at this this frequency." So, yeah, it's just another tool. Hey, Freezy, is that you?
Yup.
How are you doing tonight? We miss you, man.
Man, it's cold out here.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, how everybody tonight?
Good. We're better now.
Good, man.
Hello, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Hey, Rob the Nick, you on your best behavior?
I don't know. I don't even know what I did wrong.
You on your best behavior?
Man, look, I ain't hitting on Jack.
I ain't worked two dead flies smashed together. But hey, so I ran into somebody. I don't know if I told y'all last night, but it's one of the PlayStation players. He said that Kevin Knox had the potential to be a superstar.
Oh God!
And so I told him, I was like, you know what? Not really. But he was like, my man is legit. My man is legit. Hey, salute to the chat. Hey, salute. Hey, Daryl Pemberton, what's good? All Future Gaming, what's good? Woodshed, what's good?
Now you're talking. That's what we want to hear.
SJ3, what's good? I see you. Third hand the man, what's good? So I run into my guy, and he's like, yo, I'm telling you, that kid Knox is gonna be special. And I'm like, but Knox is so vanilla ice cream to me. Like I understand it's ice cream, but it's so vanilla. But my man is so excited about Kevin Knox going 6 for 7 from 3.
Oh boy!
I just don't get it.
Here we go.
Yeah. So Spreewell, what do you think? Is my guy wrong?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sounded like Randall.
he could have a breakout year, but he's not a superstar. Let's slow the brakes after one performance where he shoots 6 for 7, has a nice game where you got to give him credit, but let's relax.
Dog, he didn't say good player. He didn't say star. He didn't even say all-star.
Yeah, he said superstar.
Said superstar, and he meant it.
Here's the thing that we don't look. All of this is a what if game. But what if Knox just continues to just hit shots?
Hey man.
Because we keep saying, oh, he's streaky and he's not gonna, I want to see him do it, more consistently. And it's like, okay, well, what if he does do it consistently?
Kev,
I want to play a fun game really quick, Freezy. I want Kevin on the record. What will Kevin Knox this year shoot? I'm going to write this down because I want to go back to it. What will he shoot? I'm not saying, obviously, I'm not going to hold you to anything. We're not going to do a bet here. What will he shoot from the field, and what will he shoot from 3 this season, assuming he plays at least 60 games?
Well, health has never been an issue for Kevin Knox.
Right.
I'll say he'll shoot 55% from the field.
That's what
Say
he
that
did.
again.
Oh,
55.
I said 45.
40. Okay.
But 45% from the field. I say he shoot 40% from three.
Wow.
Bam. That makes him a
40%.
That puts him in elite company then.
40%.
40%.
Wow. Okay.
He did. Rounding up, he did 33 last year for the chat.
This is why.
Wow.
And this is something that Knox and Thibodeau said about Kevin Knox. It's not the fact that he's taking open shots, but he's finding a way to get open to take those shots. He's finding
40%. We're talking about like
Moving
Ray
out
Allen.
the ball, he's been doing very well.
Moving about the ball. He's not just going straight to the corner.
Going
Kevin
to the
Knox
right
is still
spot.
moving around the court, finding the seam to get open. And as long as he has people giving him the ball, taking these good shots, and as Thibodeau says, if Kevin Knox takes good shots, he's going to make them. He just has to not take the bad shots.
Okay.
And I think that having Burks and Bullock here, because he's going to overplay them. Even if he doesn't start tomorrow, Kevin Knox's play will elevate him to be the starter. I believe that wholeheartedly. And so
I'll take 35%. I'll take 35%. That would be great.
I'm telling you, Kevin Knox is not going to shoot anything.
The Raindrop said 36% from the chat.
Kevin Knox is not going to shoot anything lower than 38% this year. He's going to be in the 40% range from three.
Yeah.
And like I said, if there was an All-Star weekend this year, Kevin Knox would be in the 3-point shootout.
Hey,
Oh my
Kev,
God.
Kev, I'm gonna say this, and this is really gonna make you laugh. So my man says, so I'm like, yo, Kevin Knox stats are going down. Kevin Knox averaged 12 points one year, 6 points the next year, and so jokingly, I told him, I said, well, if he continues that trend, Kevin Knox will average 3 points this year, right? Guess what he said? They said the same thing about James Harden in Oklahoma City. Like James Harden legit averaged 9 points, 8 points a game, 9 points a game or something like that his first year. And his second year, he averaged like 15 or something. And then so he didn't have his breakout until his fourth year, where he averaged like 23 or something. And I'm going off the top of my head. I can't see the numbers or whatever.
Yeah, I got it for you if you want it. So his first year was 9.9 points, like you said. Second year was 12.2 points. Third year is 16.8 points. 25.9 is third year. 25.4, 27.4, 29, 29, 30, 36, 34.
Yeah. So my man is selling me on the James Harden trajectory with Kevin Knox.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so here's the thing. So I don't get into like the 2K stuff too much. I might play the game occasionally, like just to have fun. But dudes legit believe 2K is the Bible for some people. You know what I'm saying? 2K is legit the basketball almanac for some people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so my man legit says that he can see Kevin Knox going in that James Harden trajectory, and because people said the same thing about Harden, like he don't have any heart, he choke in a big game, he don't show up, and all that stuff. He's a different type cat, right? And I was like, you know what? I remember that. I remember them saying that stuff about Harden. But here's the thing about Harden. Harden is a shooter. Harden is legit a shooter. And I don't know if Kevin Knox is a shooter, man.
Well, his attempts are off the chart. So, statistically, he's a 36% shooter from three.
They're completely different players.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Kev, you were going to say something?
A shooter is a person who gets the ball in the hole. And some people look at Luka as a shooter, but Luka has horrible shooting numbers.
You're right.
But they had the mindset that Luka is a shooter.
Right. But how often?
The only similarity is that they both don't play defense. Go ahead.
The difference between someone like Luka and Harden and Kevin Knox is they take so many shots.
Crazy.
Even yesterday, well, not yesterday, but the last game, him scoring 20 points, Kevin Knox only took 10 shots? 12
If
shots.
Kevin Knox shoots 38% or better from 3, Kevin, I will praise you on the air for 10 minutes straight.
I'm telling you, it is 225.
10 shots. You were right, my friend.
On December 23rd. I'm telling you, Kevin Knox this season will shoot 40% from 3.
I want people in the chat. Remember, he said that. Okay,
He has
remember
the talent. There's no question about it. He has the talent to do it.
Hey, if he does it, respect. I'll give the man respect.
There's a long list of players. You can look at Chris Middleton. You can look at Paul George. There's a long list of players that look at Siakam that average. They grew as their playing time matters.
But they not shooting 40% from 3.
Chris Middleton isn't.
Nope.
I mean, he might not be. But I mean, he's not be shooting 40% from 3. But Chris Middleton went from like 6 points to like 20 points.
It's probably about 15 people in the league shooting 40% from 3.
And most of them have good point guards.
And you throwing Knox up in there this year?
Yes.
Hey.
I mean, I could see it maybe with like a really good point guard. Like,
hey, Kev, you reaching big time.
Let's get our guy Freezy, what you want to say?
Go ahead, Freeze.
I'm going to say this. I believe the likelihood of this thing occurring is very small to almost minuscule. Right?
It's ant size.
Right. But I'm saying at the same time, though, if one guy can do it for another team, I'm not gonna say it can't happen for the Knicks, right? I'm not gonna be like some other dudes that call themselves Knicks fans that always slam the Knicks every opportunity they get, right? What I'm gonna say is anything is possible. How about that? I'll put it like that. I think Kev W is sleeping on Knox's potential though. Because I feel like while the chance is minuscule, Knox does have the requisite skills to potentially pull it off. Not James Harden. I'm not talking about James Harden, but I'm talking about use his own talents and become the best version of himself. You know what I'm saying? Be the best Kevin Knox he can be. You know what I'm saying? While that may not be 36 points a game, for us, it might be 21 points a game.
Can I? Go ahead, Freddie. Go ahead.
And so you see the flashes. Like a lot of us know or feel like Kevin Knox can be the shooter that we want him to, that we think he can be once he reaches his potential. But man, if this dude explodes what if the explosion is happening right now and we're in the middle of it and don't know it? You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get y'all to see it.
That'd be exciting, man.
I'm telling y'all, there's a bomb over there. Watch out. And God was like, you know what? Whatever.
I just think this is going to be, it's not that I'm hating, okay, to the commenter saying I'm rooting for him to fail, I'm being too negative. My problem is we're talking about doing it. Amazing thing, if he's right, if Kevin is right, and I hope he does shoot 38% or better, that would be great for this team. With our point guard situation, I understand Quickly looks good, but he's still a rookie. With our point guard situation this season, to be able to do that would be incredible. It's asking a lot. That's all I'm saying. I hope he does it.
I'm going to say, it's just saying some facts. So, case in point, there was 28 last season. There was 28 players who averaged 40% from 3.
With varying amount of attempts.
Yeah, varying amount of attempts. I mean, you got your players like your Damian Lillards, surprisingly, Paul George shot. And to your point, Rob, Chris Middleton shot 41% last year. So he was one of the few players who shot 40% from 3.
Yeah, but he's playing with Giannis.
Here's my thing. This is what I hate. This is what I hate when people say he's playing with this player and this person sets him up. It's still up to that particular person to make the shot.
Sure.
Regardless of who else is on the court, you as a player have to hit the shot.
Yes, but Kevin, you also have 100%, and I'm not taking anything away, but you have to factor in the analysis. He's getting wide open looks more than most of the players in the league because he's playing with one of the best players in the league. You have to factor that in.
Okay, who's TJ Warren playing with?
Sabonis,
Sabonis and Turner.
Turner and
Brogdon.
So he's not 40% from three. Is it
Turner,
the talent around him?
40%?
Yes.
Turner,
no, not Turner. TJ Warren.
TJ Warren. Okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, how many attempts?
A game, about 4.
Okay, I mean, that's good. That's not bad. I respect that.
Terry Rozier shot 7 attempts a game. He shot 40%.
Yep.
It's good.
Paul George, Bogdanovich.
Like I said, if Kevin Knox does what you're saying he's going to do, I'm going to be very happy with Kevin Knox this season. I just want to see it.
Hey, man, I'm not trying to start the hype train on Knox, but I run into the guy, and as soon as the dude see me, he started up the Knox conversation. Again, it's like, hey, man, look, all I want Kevin Knox to do is just reach his potential, right? I don't care anything about him being a megastar or a bust. I just want the best version of Kevin Knox that we can get. Like I want to get our money's worth out of Knox. You know, and I'm sure he wants to be that too. But my man is like, yo, you can't think everybody that comes into the league is going to be Luka. Some people need time. And you know what? And that's reasonable thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
it's attainable because we're asking him to do something that's a strength of his, shooting. We're not asking him to, make his own shot. We're not asking him to drive to the hole. We're asking him to catch and shoot and put it in the hole.
Right, but it's hard for a catch and shoot dude to average 20 points a game, though. Is what my thinking is. You know what I'm saying? Just off catch and shoot, on average 20 points a game. I think Knox is going to have to put it on the floor some, and go to the basket and convert his free throw.
Hulk, I'm praising Knox. I want him to do well. Don't think I'm hating. I'm not hating.
So the thing is, does I said this before about Randall, but can we apply it to Knox? Does a rising tide raise all boats in this case? Like, does everybody get better under Tibbs?
Well, I think they're going to get better on the defensive side, which is effort, and on the offensive side, it's a different thing.
Right. And so let me ask y'all this: were our young players suppressed by bad coaching and a bad system last year?
Absolutely,
100%.
I got on there early. I don't know if you heard me about Fizdale going off on him.
Kevin was doing it. That's for sure.
I did it too. He was terrible.
Okay. So this Knox thing may be real.
I want to see it. I would love it. I mean, it would be great. I would love to praise Kevin. Nothing would make me happier.
I don't want Kevin Wright to be on the show every night talking about how right he was. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't mind.
You're right.
Because I like that smile.
I bring this analogy up all the time. I say, you don't know what a player is until he does it. And those people, like I said, if you would have asked 9 years ago, Golden State fans, is your team going to be a dynasty in 5 years? They would have laughed at you. But they had to do it first.
Right. But that's because they were in the moment. Nobody. That's the reason why I said this 6-for-7 thing with Kevin Knox is understated, because we may be in the moment of reckoning and not understand it because we are a bottom line end result people. Like we can't justify stuff until we have a bottom line to use as proof. But in the moment, you're like, you may not recognize all the signs and stuff. And so in the moment, people say, I need more proof. I need more proof. Basically what they're saying is I need something similar to the bottom line to justify this storyline that we're talking about. But nobody speaks to what happens in the moment. And so the thing with Kevin Knox is I feel myself being compelled to be present, like be in the moment with Kevin Knox, as opposed to saying, what is he going to be at the end of the year?
Yeah, get in on the ground floor.
Yeah,
He should average at least 5 threes a game, like attempts.
No, it's funny
I'm talking about attempts.
Yeah, Kaiser Sose said that. You said that he thinks that Knox is going to do 38% from 3 with at least 5 attempts per game. So
he's got to get him up. He's got to get him up.
Right, because he's the only shooter of that type on our team anyway. Right now, he's the only shooter that we think can be a pure shooter. You know what I'm saying? We don't know about Quickly yet. We hope so, based off of his reputation and what the coaches say. But Knox, I think the fan base will agree that with Knox, we legit have a feeling, like Knox is a pure shooter. You know what I mean? But can he handle the ball? Can he put the floor on the floor and drive to the basket?
Yeah, I just got a question from the chat.
More of a proven shooter than Knox. I'll just say that, in my opinion. But go ahead.
He has beautiful stroke, man. Danny Landis from the chat just asked me, "Would you make a move for the beard?" Think I might. Think Tibbs would fix him. I think the only thing that could fix him now is Jenny Craig. So, no, I would not go for the beard, man. We went through before that he was with other great players, and he's an iso ball type of player, man. I just don't see him. That's why Barkley said, "I wish he goes to the Nets." And after seeing them tonight, it'd be a terrible thing for them to do, break up that team that way, because who's going to get the ball? There was a bunch of ball hogs on that team. You just had another one who's a major ball hog. So, Danny Landis, thanks for your support. But my answer is I would not make a move for the beard.
I think with Harden, when someone said, "Oh, Tibbs can change him," once you get to a certain level, I think everyone will agree that James Harden is a superstar in this league. Like once you get to that level, you are who you are at that point in time. Especially when you've had basically control of, as the articles and reports said, control over an entire organization. That mindset is pretty much who you are now, and I don't think any kind of coach is going to change you. You've been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years now, and it's like you are who you are now.
You are who you are.
Coach Color Block said the other day, man. Exactly, you are who you are.
It's like a lot of players. What makes LeBron so smart is this here. LeBron knows what it takes for him as an individual to win, and he convinced ownership to put that around him. Harden don't know what it takes for him to win.
Well, he's one-dimensional. He's a one-dimensional player versus LeBron.
Even as a one-dimensional player, which he's not, because he can assist and rebound, is that what part if he's going to sacrifice his scoring to do it?
He dominates
and other people's
because in OKC he wasn't that player. And he was still, and at the end, he still was able to put up 20 a game and pass the ball. So it's in his DNA to do it. It's if you're gonna do it.
Their best chance was the year where they lost to the Warriors. They should have beat the Warriors. That was their chance, and then they blew it.
The thing about Harden is when you ascend to a level of status in this league. At least LeBron James was held accountable because people expected so much of LeBron. To whereas James Harden is just that talent that's just, wow, look at him. And Houston just gave him the keys. Like, what do you want? And it didn't hold him accountable. It's like they was talking about like on the NBA show. They was like, last year, Russell Westbrook also has that type of clout in the NBA. There's certain people who have, that clout that as Shaq likes to say, that G14 classification. I'm G14 classified, so I have that clout. To where they would be in the film room. Russell Westbrook was like, "Oh, he's late again. Let's just go ahead and roll the film because he's late again." If anyone can say that, it's a person like Russell Westbrook. But can Eric Gordon get away with that? Can PJ Tucker get away with that? No. And that's what he's not held to it. So
double
it's like
standard.
He just comes in, scores 35, and then he goes to Vegas.
I think that they held to that standard, but they don't care that much about winning like LeBron.
That's right. He holds himself to a level, doesn't need anybody else.
They think that they can You know, they get infatuated with the money and everything that comes with it. So at the end of the day, it's not it looks like it's on TV, it's about winning, but it's not really about winning with them. And that's why they don't sacrifice their game. Because if it was about winning, you would make the sacrifices.
They don't play defense.
Here's my thing. I think his last 2 point guards and Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook want to win. And you have those kind of personalities. And like I said, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook are both superstars. So they have cachet. And if that can't rub off on you, then you got to look at yourself in the mirror like, okay, what am I doing?
But Westbrook is the same thing.
Russell Westbrook wants to win.
The only thing is different is this here. If, like I said about James Harden, if he wanted to win, he would have kept Chris Paul on that team. But you didn't want to win. You put what you wanted to do before the team, and then you got Westbrook in there. Then you did the same thing. And then when that didn't work, now you want to leave.
Harden's going to go down in history as one of those guys that doesn't win a championship, but he was a great offensive player. But like Rob is saying, he put MVPs, scoring titles, dominating the ball, his own over the team. That's it.
He put that over championship.
Related to Melo.
100%. Yeah. Same thing with Melo. I mean, as much as we respect Melo and what he can do, one of the best scorers in the history of the game. But that's just the bottom line.
What the thing with Melo was that I think is kind of different. Melo was all about the money.
Yeah, money.
The money, not the prestige. He was wanting the money.
Well, Harden did turn down $50 million.
Huh?
Harden did
turn down $50 million a year, man.
Yeah, but look at the he know he's going to get that anyway. He turned it down for right now. That contract wouldn't have came into existence for another 2 years. So
I think Chauncey Billups admitted this about Melo in his early careers, that he admitted on his podcast that Melo was more about his numbers than the team in Denver. He admitted that.
Yeah.
He came out publicly and said that was an issue.
But if it was about winning with Melo, he wouldn't have came to New York that early. It was a contract. It was a strike year. He wanted to get under contract before the strike.
Exactly right. And that's why that was the problem.
Yeah. It cost him to go with LeBron in them. He could have easily been there.
He was going to be the big three in Miami. He was supposed to be the third piece, but he didn't play it right.
And then he messed up the big three in New York because it was supposed to be him, Amari, and Chris Paul.
Correct.
That also got messed up because David Checkett signed Chandler.
Right.
And then immediately got fired.
Glenn Grunwald, but yeah.
Yeah, Grunwald.
Yeah.
And Checkett, but they both left at the same time.
Yeah. It's frustrating, Rob, but you're highlighting what my frustrations, and I'm trying to move on.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, those are players that's built on not championships. LeBron was built on he wanted a legacy. Before he came into the NBA, he had $100 million Nike contract, so money wasn't an issue.
Correct.
Hey, let me ask Kev this. I'm gonna ask Kev this real quick. So, Kev, if Knox does blossom into the guy that some people think he will be, and I don't. I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying that I'm a Knox hater. I just don't think he's going to be a 20-point scorer. But say he does, are the Knicks a playoff team?
Are you talking about this season?
This season.
That depends. What's RJ averaging?
Oh, well, you already know RJ is going to do him.
I have said this from day one.
I think RJ is going to be an 18.
And you know Randall is going to do him.
I continue to say this. RJ and Knox need each other. What one does will elevate the other, because RJ needs the spacing that Knox provides, and Knox will need the penetration that RJ provides to collapse the defense. So they need each other. And I think they will play well. I think their skill sets fit perfectly. So it's really what one does will affect the other. That's why I asked if Knox is averaging that, what's RJ averaging? If they can both get to 18, then this team is definitely a playoff team.
I don't agree with that. I can't agree with that.
Why?
I'm sorry. Because that doesn't, just because two guys get 18 points a game, there's no correlation to definitely making the playoffs.
I say that because, again, if Randall's on this team, we still know what Randall's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch and Noel are basically going to come in and do the same thing. They're going to provide defense and rebounding and be the anchor of a defense. And so it's all about, defensively, this team will be fine under Tibbs. It's about, can you get consistent offensive production from 3 players?
Yeah, but it depends how efficient they are with their points. If not, Kevin Knox goes 5 for 17 from the field and has 18 points, I'm not going to be happy. It's not going to be good.
See, my thing is this, and I look at it like this. Even if Kevin Knox averages 18 a game, let's say he averages 18 a game.
Okay.
Kevin Knox still isn't going to be taking that many shots.
If he averages 18 a game, I disagree with that. I think he will be taking a lot of shots.
Well, when Kevin in his rookie year averaged, I'll round it off to 12.8. He averaged about 5 threes or basically 12 field goal attempts a game.
Do you consider that a lot, 12?
Here's my thing.
28 minutes.
He got 20
minutes
tonight on 10 shots.
But that's not going to be the norm.
No, but I'm saying, and I brought this up yesterday or the day before, if he shoots 40% from 3 this season,
out of 5 shots, that we needed 2.
He'll take more than 5 threes a game, I think. I think he'll be like 5 or 6 a game, probably.
Well, I think that's right. I think that's fair.
Yeah, me too.
If he averages 5 or 6 threes a game and averages 40%.
That's
obviously he'll have nights where he'll have 6 for 7, and he'll have nights where he goes 1 for 5.
Okay, so that's 2. That's 2 a game. That's 2 a game.
That's
2 or 3 games right there. Yeah.
So he'll get to the line. He'll have his fast break points because they'll run from time to time. So he'll get 18. So it's about efficiency.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if
he get 18, can he get 18 off the same 12 to 13 shots he took in his rookie season?
I don't know.
Because he's more efficient.
It's possible, but that's the key word, efficient. If we're talking about an RJ Barrett and a Knox that are efficient with their 18, 20 points, then maybe we have something. But just to say that there's
I'm putting it like this because I'm saying that they're getting 18 because they're going to be efficient.
Okay, that's different. That's fair.
Yeah, that's what I guess I should have clarified that. I'm saying that they're going to get 18 to 20 a night because they're being efficient.
Sure, if they're playing efficient ball.
Payne and Johnny Bryant are going to drill that efficiency.
Look,
and they have to, because as I opened up, Knox was 319 out of 327 qualified players in efficiency.
If you get 3 players, to your point, Kevin, if you get 3 players that are efficient scorers, okay, that are around 20 points a game, then yeah, this team should be good. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see.
And you know what? The one underlying thing that we hadn't discussed in this conversation, if Julius Randle does his career numbers, say 19 and 9, right, or 19 and 10, and RJ does what we expect, say 25 and 5, or 24 and 4, or 25 and 4, let's say that, because RJ is a pretty good rebounder for his size, and Knox blows the bar away and does, because I saw somebody say 14. I saw somebody say 45, 38, and 80. If Knox does that, then those are superstar percentages, especially on decent volume. If he does 45, 38, and 80, Knox is a 20-point scorer. You know what I'm saying? I can't see that happening. And if that does happen, guess what else happens? Then we see a limited role by Obi Toppin. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't legit take Knox off the floor to let Obi play if Knox is 20 points a game, and you legit can't take Julius Randle off the floor if Julius Randle puts up his career averages, say 19 and 9. So what happens to Obi Toppin, right? And then
That's great logic. You're 100% right.
And then also and even RJ too. So you can't take RJ off the floor for Obi either, right? And so now it's what do we do? What do we do with Obi Toppin, right?
I don't think Obi will have. It'll be someone who's not. It'll be someone who's like Bullock, who gets pushed to the back. I think
he could be a second team monster, Obi.
But for the record, I think Knox is going to average 15 points a game this year.
If Knox averages 15, that's a huge. I don't see Knox doing that.
That's progress.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. Or at least that's what I want him to do.
This guy,
15, 5, and 2 is my prediction.
This is the thing about it that kills me. You saw Knox average almost 13
as
being bad, being not efficient. So if he's efficient, if his shot falls consistently, then it should be easy for him to get back to the double digits.
But you're not.
I'm factoring in the point guard situation. But go ahead, Reason.
And he's not. What Kev is not taking into account is that team that Knox did that on featured Mario Hezonja and Noah Vonleh. It featured Trey Burke and Emmanuel Mudiay. You know what I'm saying? Now you legit have R.J. Barrett. You have Julius Randle. You know what I mean? So you can't look at it the same. It's not linear. It's not a linear comp.
No, it isn't. But I'm saying is if Knox still gets 12 shots a game, and he's shooting 45% from the field and 40% from three, but still taking 12 shots a game, and that's obviously way more. That's almost 10% higher in both. I don't know what he shot. I think he might shot like 38% from the field. So he's shooting like 7 or 8% better and 8% better in the threes. Then yes, he's going to average way more points.
Right. Because what you can't do is, and I'm not talking about you, Kev. I'm just talking about in general. What you can't do is project a guy to be efficient with a lower number of shots, because what happens is the more efficient a player is, the more the team is going to ask him to do. The team is going to ask him to take on more responsibility, more workload, because he's proving that he can work in that efficient range. So if he's only taking 9 shots a game and he's super efficient, of course he's going to get the ball more. And that number may jump to 12 shots. And if he's 45, 38, and 80 with 12 shots, that number is probably going to drop to 15 shots. It's going to continue. He's going to get the more he proves he can handle, the more they're going to give him to handle. Is basically what I'm getting at.
And I said that because, like I said, Knox next to Obi, Knox is probably one of the top on the team. He's probably, if not the best open court player we have on this team.
Who's that?
Kevin Knox.
I would say RJ.
No, Kevin Knox is better in the open
court. Yeah.
In the open court,
it's not even
Kevin
close.
Knox is better than RJ.
RJ's better, right?
No, he's not.
RJ's better, right?
No, RJ is in the open court. Because here's the thing. In the open court, Knox is actually really good at facilitating the ball, pushing the ball, than RJ is. Knox is actually
RJ is not,
more of a higher flyer than
Knox is not good at the rim.
What do you mean? Have you seen him in the open court?
Knox is not good at the rim.
Knox what do you mean not good at the rim? When you throw the ball up to Knox is going to go get it.
Floaters in the lane and everything.
No, I said open court.
That's not true, Rob.
Open court.
By the rim, he is higher. Last year, he shot higher than the league average. He shot 56% at the rim last year.
I think Knox is a good open court player. So to your point, I think that's fair. But I think RJ is a little better. But that's just my opinion.
When you throw the ball up to Kevin Knox on the fast break, Kevin Knox is going to go get the ball.
He does a good job. I'm not going to lie. He's not bad.
But he struggles in a half-court offense.
I didn't say half-court. I said open court. And the open court
talking about in the open court in transition.
In transition, Kevwhen Knox is better than RJ.
I don't think so.
Because Kevin Knox
would say RJ, but Kevin's probably the second.
When have you seen RJ lead a break as well as Kevin Knox?
Or go to coast to coast with a rebound.
Yeah, RJ is not going coast to coast like that. Kevin
I
Knox
think
is
RJ
coast to coast.
RJ just went right hand to left hand at the half court line just this game and blew down there for a left-handed layup.
No, I
He
said
did
coast
that
to
this
coast,
last
as in
game.
get the rebound and go.
Yeah, but
And
if
they
he
were-
gets the but see, he has to get Knox is 6'10". He gonna get the ball and push it up. If RJ gets that rebound, he usually kicking it out and running on the other side of the wing to get
That's
it back.
what I'm saying. Kevin Knox can do more than RJ because
I
Kevin
don't
Knox
think
can
both.
feed the break.
I think Knox is a better passer in the open
I
court.
think in that context, they both can do that. They both have that skill set.
Knox is a better passer in the
Because
open
if
court. I
Knox was
think
doing
RJ
that
is a
at a
better
higher level,
finisher.
Kevin, he wouldn't have been averaging 6 points last year.
Knox
RJ's a
He was
better
missing
finisher
the
in the
three.
you
open
don't
court.
realize with his stride how much
Yeah, but only thing I'm saying, if he was that efficient in it, he would never average 6 points when he's not hitting his three.
That team last year was so bad they weren't even
It
going
doesn't
on fast
matter,
break.
but
He
if he
was
can
out running last year.
But he
You know
can
who's the
manufacture
best
his
player in the
own
open
points.
court in this franchise's history?
Huh?
He would be able to manufacture his own points if that was a skill set. He wouldn't need the three all the time to get buckets. He can get the ball off the rim.
The best
When you have seen him in the open court, like summer league Kevin in the open court was amazing, like amazing.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
the first possession he had, he did exactly what you said, Kev. He got it, went coast to coast, and lit up the New York sports scene because he dunked it, a two-hand dunk on coast to coast in summer league.
Yeah, if Kevin Knox gets the ball and just goes, because like I said, because he's taller.
I can't believe we speaking 45 minutes on Kevin Knox. Dang.
Sprewell was better in the open court than Kevin Knox. Not even close.
The key to Kevin is just playing and not thinking.
Yes, Sprewell is one of the best open court players of his generation.
Yeah.
Respect, man.
Fellas, we're reaching that time. I just wanted to do a last shout out. Freezy was magic. We're at 111 likes. We were at 90, 86 or something. The man came on and boom, blew past that 100 number. So God bless you, Freezy. So again, salute to that chat. Hit those like, subscribe, and reminder buttons. We passed that 1,000 milestone. Now 1,500. We're now at 1.02. So, hit those buttons. Support our boy Freezy. Shout out to the mods. They had a tough night tonight. Sima Bodega, New York Knicks, the new Knicks. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. And again, don't forget to check out Freezy's Knicks Morning Drive. Great show every morning. So,
gentlemen, I'm out.
Yep, we're coming to that time. Freezy, anything before we close her down you want to talk about?
So I didn't get to hear Kevin's projection for Knox. Maybe we can do that tomorrow.
Hey,
about next year because
I'll say this: he's gonna have at least another 18-point night tomorrow. I'm calling it now. Knox is gonna drop between 15 and 20 tomorrow.
Okay, well, hold on. How efficient? What are we talking?
I gotta say he's not gonna shoot 6 or 7, but he'll probably be like more. I say maybe 3 for 4. I say.
Remember, you have him shooting 40% or 38% from 3 for the year.
I mean, you also that's not that fluctuates game to game. You know that, right?
I know. I'm just messing with you.
It's not gonna be like one game is gonna be whatever, but he'll have between 15 and 20 tomorrow. I say maybe 17 to 18.
Will he shoot better than 40% from 3 tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow.
What's the score of the game?
I just wrote it down, so we have it.
Knicks win tomorrow.
What's the score?
105-100.
Is Sabonis playing?
Yeah. TJ Warren's not playing.
Okay. Where's the game? New York?
Indiana.
I think it's a 7 o'clock start.
Well, it still matters. I mean, I still think it matters. But
I don't think it matters at all. There ain't no crowd.
They get to use those rims. They're used to the rims.
Man, look, they played on the rims for 3 years. Well, how much more use can you get?
Hey,
right.
So do you think? Let me ask you this before we go, because I got to go back. I'm in here too in like a minute, 2 minutes. Right. So you don't think Latrell Sprewell is overrated?
No, He's a great player.
Are you serious?
Great player. Great player. I think he's underrated. I think people don't talk about him enough. I think, look, he was not a Hall of Fame player. Look, I'm not going to be crazy. But in the 90s generation, if you're asking me as far as his role, and he was up there. Maybe he was a 4-time All-Star.
Was he even top 20 at his position during the 90s?
Yeah. Of course. He was like top 5 at his position for many years.
You are bugging. I think when you said underrated, the first person I think about as shooting guard is Mitch Richmond. It's probably the
Mitch Richmond was a Hall of Fame player. Mitch Richmond was better than
Jordan. I think in the 90s shooting guards.
Yeah, I would say Jordan, Mitch Richmond ahead of him. I take a lot of guys ahead of Spree, but he was definitely top 10 for his position. There's no doubt about that.
The top 10 is a
yeah. To me, I compare him to, like, if I had to say just off the top of my head, and this is, I want to be maybe Glenn Rice, Glenn Robinson, that type of
he
player.
Was better than them.
He was better than
Glenn Robinson.
He was better than them.
Glenn Robinson actually had very good numbers if you go back and look, but yeah, Spree was better.
Milwaukee Glenn Robinson was.
Glenn Rice is way better than Spreewell, man. What are we talking about?
No, I disagree with that.
Here's something funny.
They played.
Glenn Rice is still the all-time leading scorer of the Charlotte Hornets.
By the way, Afro, I didn't say Spreewell was top 10 in the league. I said top 10 at his position.
And also, the
Hornets never kept nobody long enough to challenge the rating.
I don't. So is Spree better than Vince Carter?
No, he's not better than Vince Carter.
I never said that.
Steph and Don, have a good night, bro.
Is Spree better than Tracy McGrady?
Well, Tracy McGrady came. I wouldn't put Tracy McGrady in that era with Spreewell.
Okay, okay.
Spreewell wasn't better than McGrady.
What about Grant Hill?
Who?
Grant Hill.
Well, I think that's a bad comparison because Grant Hill got hurt. When Grant Hill in his prime, no, I'd take Grant Hill. But Grant Hill got hurt. He didn't.
How about this? And this is my thing. Who is better, Spreewell or Houston?
Spreewell.
Houston. What?
Spreewell.
Spreewell is not better. Okay.
Houston was a better shooter, but Spreewell was the better, more explosive player. 100%. 100%.
I would say Spreewell.
Spreewell on both ends of the. I'm talking about both ends of the floor here. I'm not just talking about shooting the basketball. Right. We're talking about just shooting. Of course, Allen Houston.
We're talking about all around game.
Spreewell was better, man.
Oh, get out of here. Oh, my gosh.
Freezy, come on, man. Look, I love Allen Houston. I got his most rarest cards. Look, he was a great three-point shooter. One of the most underrated shooters in that era when he doesn't get brought up enough. But come on, man. Spreewell all around was a better player. Come on.
Man.
We got to be fair here.
I think New York Knicks win them all 102-98.
So top 10 at his position.
You're hurting me with this conversation. This is really, you're hurting me, man.
No, and listen, it's not personal, man. It's not like I'm trying to troll you or anything. But it's just when I see a Reggie Miller, I'm thinking I can't take Spreewell over Reggie.
No, I'm not taking him over Reggie. I never said that.
Yeah, there are so many shooting guards, man, from the 90s. Allen Iverson.
First of all, I consider Spreewell, to be fair, he played small forward for the Knicks. So
right, but he played shooting guard for the Golden State Warriors, though.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So I'm saying I compare him also to small forwards when he was with the Knicks.
I take him over like Mashburn. I would take him over.
Would you take him over Jim Jackson? Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. I could take him over Jim Jackson. Right. Do you take him over Sean Elliott?
Yes.
Yep.
No.
Yep. I take him over Sean Elliott.
Look, New York Knicks Talk News highlights. I love Spreewell more than anybody in the world, but he was not better than Reggie Miller. Let's not get crazy here.
Right. So shooting guards from the 90s, do you count? So you got to count Vince Carter because Vince Carter came out in the 90s, right?
Vince Carter came out, what, 99?
97?
Spreewell was on the way out.
Carter,
by then.
No. Yeah, it's a bad comparison. They really didn't play in the same eras that much. For a little bit, yes, with the Raptors, but he was coming.
Okay, so what about So
I think Carter had a better career, though. To your point, Freezy.
I didn't know that Vince Carter had 25,000 points. I was like, when did this happen?
Who?
Yeah.
He's played for 100 years, man.
He did live 100 years. So
Vince Carter.
Vince Carter has 25,000 points.
He played for
more
22
years in the
years.
NBA than anybody. He's played in the league more than anybody.
Right.
But still, it's like at the end, he was only averaged like 3 points, 5 points. So, but it's like,
hell no. He's been averaging like what, 13, 14 points a game?
no, his last couple of years, it was like 3, 5, 7.
Bro, he played well up into about his 18th year.
Right.
I said like his last 3, 4 years, it was like,
okay, yeah, but that was he was probably already 24,000 when he got there.
I get New York Knicks top news highlights. Yes, I agree. Spree was a better defender. Also, I would take Spree over Steve Smith.
Yeah, I could.
yeah.
That's a good point. Do you take him over guys like Hersey Hawkins, Del Curry, Dale Ellis?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They was food.
They were shooters, pure shooters, but
give me a few more, Freezy. I like this. This is enjoyable now. Give me a few more.
Hey, so I'm throwing you some softballs now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean,
fellas, I'm out, man.
Yeah, we reached that magic point.
All right. I'll leave you with this, Freezy. Look, Latrell, was he the greatest player in the world? Was he a Hall of Famer? No. Was he one of the most exciting players of that era, in my opinion, with what he did for the Knicks? Absolutely. Do I think he was top 10 at his position? I think he's around there. I'm not going to say he was top 5. That's crazy. That maybe is a little too nuts. But look, he was a 4-time All-Star, and I think he had 1 or 2 years where you could put his numbers up there with anybody. But that's all look, I'm biased. I'm biased for the guy, but I think a lot of people would agree with me if they're honest. But
I would say I agree with you in that he may be top. I can't say I can't bring myself to say top 10, right? Because I legit is right off the bat. I think Clyde Drexler.
We might have to do that experiment one day, freezing offline. We may have to do that.
Yeah,
it is my goal, and as much as I said earlier, and I'm gonna leave you out with this. As much as I say it hurts me to compare Sprewell and Houston because I love them and which one is better. I want kids one day, and this is my goal, this is my dream. I want kids one day in like 10, 15 years to be like, you know what? Who is better? Let's have this debate, Knox or RJ.
Right.
That's how good I want. I'm saying that's how good I want them to be, that kids have this debate about which one is their favorite players because they were that good and led us to championships.
Yeah, that's
what I want.
That's a good thought right there.
Hey, one last thing. Let's say prayers for Ron Cleveland, for his mom, his family.
Yes.
And we're behind you, Ron.
Yeah.
Prayers up, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, Ron, so if you're watching this, man, if you need somebody to talk to about something like that, I went through something similar. Hit me up, man. So, we can have
much love.
Some conversations. So I'm just gonna say this and then I really gotta go, man. I don't know if Spree was better than Drazen Petrovic. Daryl Pemberton brought him up.
I'm not gonna. To be honest, I didn't even watch Drazen Petrovic play, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
Well, Spree had better personal hygiene, that's for sure.
Yeah, and so maybe we can have this Spreewell talk, at a later time, so we can.
You and I will have this talk, and we're going to go through each of those players. I'm going to do an analysis of every two guard, every small forward from that era, and you and I will have it. We'll come up with a list, and then we'll present our arguments to the audience in a few weeks. How about that?
Yeah. How about we do it around the middle of January, like maybe
absolutely,
or maybe around the King holiday. It'll be something cool for us to talk about.
You got it, my man, Freezy. Anything for you.
All right. Hey, man. Hey, thank you, man.
Let's get a W tomorrow.
Hey, so Steve, tomorrow. Hey, Foxy, tomorrow's going to be a big day, man.
I know. Can't wait. I have it. I have the adrenaline pumping already.
So I'm going to buy 6 cases of Red Bull, but I'm not for sure if it's going to be enough. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later, man.
Hey, God bless everyone. Thank you,
Terrell, Steve. Take care.
It's always an honor.
All right, peace, y'all.